Morning, Raptorsfreak. Alexiot's here. Friday Freakout. I want to do this Freakout because things have been happening in the last couple of days again that I thought kind of died off a couple of weeks ago and stuff like that. This is trade talks with Brooklyn about Kevin Durant. And specifically, they are targeting Scottie Barnes. They're saying that they really, really, really want Scottie Barnes pretty bad. They're thirsting so hard. Oh my gosh, it's crazy how much they're thirsting. Monique is just real quick. Let me get the comments that were left here for me. Monique is saying that Ron Harper Jr. is shooting his threes a lot in practice. Add him to the list of Raptors this offseason that are working on their 3-point shot a lot. And we've seen that a lot with Scottie and Pascal in particular. And now we're seeing it with Ron Harper Jr. That's awesome. And Shane Waters is here saying TGIF, everybody. It's Friday. Let's go. I was really hoping to see you get that sword last night, Lex. Did Scottie ever figure out how to do it? I'm listening, just about to start my drive to work. Bam. Appreciate it, Shane Waters. I hope you drive safe. Yeah, I appreciate you and Tom being such vocal advocates for me in Scotty's Twitch last night. That was nice of you guys. It was pretty cool. And he wanted to, he was trying to, but also he was kind of not figuring out how to do it. So, no, I did not ever get my moderator sword in Scotty's Twitch, but he is trying to make me a moderator in his Twitch. We'll see if it happens. I mean, I can't get too upset or weirded out about what happens with this. I'm excited just to be there and be a regular and stuff like that. If I get the moderator, that's great because I will really help his chat get cleaned up for a couple different things. You know, I wouldn't be tolerating the Nets fans coming in and doing all their stupid talk in the side or any of this other stuff. People being inappropriate as far as sexually and stuff like that. Asking questions to Scotty that are just really, really, really inappropriate. And I could really help him with that, but he wanted to fly free yesterday without no moderators in his chat for a while yesterday. And it was a little crazy, but it wasn't too bad. It could have been worse and stuff like that. Tom Duke's saying, let's go. Tell me about how bad the Taco Fall trade. Okay, Tom wants to know about what happened last week because I didn't really tell you guys this story last week because it's kind of embarrassing. All right, first of all. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want to talk about it. It's like Scotty was trying to get an end game Taco Fall last week, and he had saved up a certain amount of points that you can buy him with. And he was trying to buy him, but on this game on 2K22, there's so many different versions of different players, like the same player. There'll be like 10 Taco Falls. So he was in there trying to buy the card, Tom, and he thought he was getting the correct one and he wasn't getting the correct one and he spent a lot of money on it and he bought the wrong one. And afterwards he realized he failed on that and he got really mad and he quit 2K and he hadn't played it again since until last night. And it's partly because he's just frustrated with the game, right? He's frustrated with these kids who play it 24/7 and they're just crazy hyped up, leveled up, and you can tell they're really good. He played one of them last night near the end, and then he was pissed off because he got duped and bought the wrong Taco Fall card. So that's what happened, Tom. And I don't really want to throw his failures in his face or anything like that. It was an honest mistake that honestly, you or me, anybody else, we were in there trying to suss it out and figure out which Taco Fall to get, we'd probably make the wrong decision also. G saying, is he now 6'10"? We're going to have to measure him before the season starts, and we'll have to see if that stat changes. Last year, they had him officially listed at 6'7", but he is 6'9" right now at this point. He says he's 6'9". He knows how tall he is. So we'll have to see. They remeasure him before the season. Maybe he gets 6'9" for sure this time. But maybe he gets 6'10". That'd be badass too. Tom Duke's saying his chat has some weirdos. Guess that's everywhere. Yeah, that's going to happen. There's childish people. There's children. There's literally children on Twitch. We could be talking to 10-year-olds, Tom, when we're in that room, just so you know, and some of the stuff that's going on in there. Tom says he seemed quite upset with his mistake. Bummer. Love his competitiveness. Yeah, he just didn't like getting the wrong card. I think it partly was the stuff that he used to buy the card. He had worked hard to get that currency, and then he just wasted it. And then just stuff like that. Seymour saying, is there any GMs that you would rank over Masai? Toronto teams only. Leafs, Jays, Argos history. Good morning, Seymour Pate. Great first question. No. I mean, listen, if we're going to go into the history of great GMs in Toronto history, I don't think you can put anybody in Toronto unless you go way, way back to like, I mean, for the Leafs. Well, you can't put anybody for the Leafs unless you go way, way back to like the 60s. And I don't know those guys' names. I think it's not Foster Hewitt or somebody. I don't know. This the Harold Ballard. He has that curse and stuff like that. I don't know. I would say the closest person to Masai's number one. Forget about it. He's undoubtedly the best GM in the history of Toronto sports. I would say Pat Gillick and people from the Blue Jays in the World Series years could be comparable and stuff like that. Like if Nick Nurse is Cito Gaston, something like that, something like that. That's how I would look at it, Seymour. So the Blue Jays with Pat Gillick and some of the stuff they did in the 90s could be comparable a little bit to what Masai's done with the Raptors. But Masai's not done. He's going to make it even better. Oh, my gosh. Joseph Stark saying, listening to your explanation of that 2K22 experience is absolutely hilarious. That game is great, but it has many kinks and quirks. I bought the wrong taco too. Too much salt. Yeah, and this is part of the reason why Scottie was getting really frustrated. Forget about getting the wrong taco. He was also, there's glitches in the game and there's weird things. And if you play the game a lot, you learn the glitches, weird cheating advantages and things you can do with your players. And there was a guy who was playing near the end of the night and it was a close game and he had a chance to come back and win the game. But the dude was really glitching and doing all kinds of stuff. And it was frustrating, Scottie. Like you could tell he wanted to take the controller and throw it after the game. Because that's what he's saying right now. He feels like 2K22 is too broken in some ways, that it's not a very good game in some ways. Monique saying, so much interview with Nick Nurse. Check them out. Okay, there's a bunch of interviews with Nick Nurse. I'll have to go find them, Monique. Thanks for the heads up. Now, let me get to brass tacks. Let me get to the business of today. I got to talk to somebody real quick, and his name's Sean Marks. Yeah. Random Gamers here. What's up, guys? This is off topic, but I was just wondering, where are you from, Canada or the States? I'm from Toronto. I was born in Toronto, in downtown Toronto. I'm straight up 416, real one from Toronto. It's just that when I was 4 years old, Random Gamer, my dad moved me to Florida. So I grew up in Florida as a Canadian with a green card. So I'm a Canadian citizen always my whole life. I became American in 1999. So I've been Canadian since birth. American naturalized in 99. And that's why I have this accent, is because I grew up in Florida. I grew up in Tallahassee. I'm a Seminole, just like Scottie. So that's why I'm a weird mix of the right things, just like Scottie is. He's a Raptor Knoll. I'm a Raptor Knoll too. I'm class of 98, Florida State, baby. Woo! So all right, anyway, let me get back to topic. Sean Marks, I'm about to do a promo on you, sir, because you're out of pocket with your trade talks and what you've been saying this summer. It's crazy. Listen, you guys are just like that kid in your class that didn't do any studying before the test, and you're coming up to us and you want to get on our test and cheat from us. Just because you weren't prepared, just because you are having issues in your life, doesn't mean we have to bail you out. That's the thing that's going on here. Brooklyn, you're a dumpster fire. You're just as big a dumpster fire as the Lakers are. You have dysfunction, and your conjunction function is just dysfunction. And that's what I'm going to say every day is that, listen, you have problems with your personnel. You have problems with your superstars. We saw this last year. I predicted it at the beginning of the season last year. I said Brooklyn's going to be a huge dumpster fire because of Kyrie Irving, because of James Harden, because of Kevin Durant. And it all came true. Each one of these guys was a dumpster fire in a different way for the Nets in the last year, whether it's Kyrie not getting vaccinated, not showing up to half the games, whether it's James Harden showing up afterwards and not being or Ben Simmons, whoever the hell they had, they were all dumpster fires as superstars. And now Kevin started his dumpster fire as a superstar this summer as by requesting a trade. Now, this is hilarious to me because it's like in some ways he's broken a trust with the Nets, and in some ways they don't really want him, but in some ways they can't get rid of him. And at this point, they're getting desperate. They're real desperate. Like they're so thirsty, desperate for some sort of good trade for Kevin Durant that they need to just realize you're going to get shafted, you're going to get scammed, and you're going to get a bad return for Kevin at this point. if you're really going to move him. If not, just keep him there and let's see the dumpster fire that happens this year, that he didn't get moved. He's wasting another year on a team that is on the low key, just like the Knicks. In fact, I want to say something about New York NBA teams right now. I think that y'all are going to have a problem forever. It doesn't matter if it's the Knicks and James Dolan. It's just that city. It creates bad teams. It creates dysfunction. It creates bad shit because y'all in New York are crazy for good basketball. You've been starved for it. So in some ways, the fan nation and the management of these teams is just awful. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, the Brooklyn Nets aren't run any better than the New York Knicks. They may have flashier names. They may seem to have more promise, but they are not. They're just as much a dumpster fire. And this may be more symptomatic of being a team in New York. That the New York press, the New York fans, the way they treat the team and all this kind of stuff is part of the reason why Brooklyn cannot find success. Has the Nets ever won a championship? No, they have not. Are they any closer to winning a championship right now? They look like they were real close in the last couple of years, but really on the down low, they were wearing clothes that made them look like they weren't on fire, but they were really on fire inside. So this is the thing. I mean, listen, Kevin knows that he's going to waste more of his precious years left in his career if he's stuck in Brooklyn again this season. That they ain't going to win a championship in the Nets this year with Ben Simmons' goofy ass on the team. So it's like he wants out. He wants to get the hell out. Well, the thing is, the Nets did something stupid a couple years ago when they traded to get James Harden. They sacrificed all their picks, and they don't have any picks. Well, you want Scottie Barnes so bad. At this point, I saw somebody on Twitter saying, well, you really want him? Well, you go ahead and you send us Kevin with all your picks. Oh, wait, you don't have any. So it's like, listen, you have no bargaining chips. You have nothing. The Lakers want picks to get Kyrie Irving. They want picks. You want picks from the Lakers? Well, the Lakers don't have picks to give you for Kyrie Irving. These teams all want picks now because they traded all their picks for these stupid superstar deals to get these big names on their team. It's hilarious how the Nets and the Lakers have hamstrung themselves to be doomed to be with their superstars and the dysfunction that they built. It's so hilarious. Like, Kyrie, is he going to get the Lakers? I don't know. The Lakers want picks from the Nets. Well, the Nets don't have any picks. The Nets want picks from the Lakers. Well, the Lakers don't have any picks. So who the hell is going to make him move? Well, Kyrie's not going to move then, and he's going to stay on the Nets. Now, with Kevin, it's different. It's like, oh, he's so good, guys. The whole rest of the league will want him right away. Ooh, they'll want Kevin. Ooh, everybody loves Kevin. Okay, you went and tested the market. You found out, well, maybe people don't want Kevin as much as you thought. You thought you could get so much from the Raptors. You thought we would fleece them. Masai just said, no, keep dreaming. And he said, I'm hanging up the phone, Sean Marks. I don't need to talk to you anymore. We're at an impasse. And we're not going to get anywhere. Okay, so he's going to go talk to Phoenix. Okay, Ayton got signed up and he's done. And okay, we can't talk to Phoenix anymore. Okay, let's go talk to Miami. Let's see how Miami's doing. Maybe Miami wants Kevin Durant. Well, we're not really meeting on the right level here either. And there's some hamstrung things we can't do necessarily easy deal with Miami because of contracts and Ben Simmons' dumb, goofy ass and stuff like that. So, okay, we can't do this with them. Let's go back to Toronto. Oh, no, wait, let's look at Boston. Let's talk to Boston for a little bit. Ooh, Jaylen Brown? Yeah, Jaylen Brown. We want to talk to you about Jaylen Brown, but we want Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Oh, no, you can't have both of them. We'll give you Jaylen Brown easily, Boston's saying, but we can't give you Marcus Smart. No. How about Derek White with Jaylen Brown? No. We really want Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. The Nets are crazy with what they want from these other teams. They're absolutely stupid and crazy. And now they're coming back, circling around to Toronto, and Sean Marks is now saying in the last couple of days he wants Scottie Barnes specifically. The Nets are so thirsty for Scottie Barnes. Well, you know what? Keep dreaming. Masai has told you all this over and over again. Keep dreaming. Once again, just because Kevin Durant's a dumpster fire on your team, a dysfunction, a problem, a person you want to ship away and go to another team, doesn't mean that we have to bail you out. Nobody in this league has to bail out the Nets. Let the Nets be a dumpster fire in Brooklyn. There's no problem with that. In fact, hey, that's great. I'll go get marshmallows. We'll roast them on your dumpster fire because it's fun to see you guys in a dumpster fire. We have no reason to help you guys with this. We have no reason to send our Roy, our big four, our favorite, Mr. Scottie Barnes to y'all's team. So keep dreaming, Brooklyn. You will not be getting Scottie Barnes. Masai Ujiri is going to tell you that. Keep dreaming. and like just go away. Sean Marks, you're desperate. It's just a bad look. And you guys are gonna have to just, you made your bed. Now you're gonna have to sleep in it. And that's a contract with Kevin Durant and him not totally being wanting to be there. And maybe this could be a whole lot of fun to watch how this dumpster fire burns over the next season. And another wasted year of Kevin's career where he's not going to get anywhere near a championship with Brooklyn. And he's going to get pissed off at Ben Simmons for being a goof. And it's just going to be a disaster. And Kyrie, well, we'll see what happens with Kyrie. He could end up all kinds of different kind of things with him. He could end up, not wanting to be around the team. He could end up being half there again like last year. He could end up being on another team. Who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. I kind of did my rant. I think that's most of what I want to say. Oh, there was one more thing I want to say. Fuck Brooklyn. That is the last thing I want to say on that. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Random gamer. All right, let's see. Seymour saying fuck Brooklyn and Masai we trust. That's right. Listen, I don't even think he's talking to Sean Marks. Sean Marks is just putting something out in the press to say we want Scottie Barnes to have this, so they can get Brooklyn Nets fans all wound up. They're coming into the Twitch last night trying to say you're going to be a net, Scottie. You're going to be a net. Keep dreaming, Nets fans. You think he's going to be a net next year? No. You guys don't even have what we want from you guys. I mean, Kevin Durant is great, but he's not even really what we want. We have no reason to really want Kevin Durant. People are saying, oh, you get Kevin Durant, then you can win championships right away. Well, maybe, but we want to win championships the right way, internally with who we have. And Scottie Barnes is one of our guys. Raptors leaked the OVO stuff. Yeah, it's getting released today. Some really nice new shirts, new colors with the OVO owl and the symbol and the side. Yeah, this is actually real nice gear. This is gear that I would wear and stuff like that. Normally, I was like, actually, I would wear most OVO gear, honestly. But it's going to be really awesome to see this new stuff. And there's going to be all on the street. Granny Evelyn's going to be styling on the street. I know Monique's going to go get her OVO gear, and she's going to look styling in that stuff too. I know she will, probably. I mean, Monique's got the good swag, whatever she's wearing. Like if it's Raptors, if it's OVO, whatever it is, Monique's got good swag. I've seen it in the pictures she has and stuff like that. Seymour saying they've been doing that since Pierce and KG days. Yeah, it is a kind of a weird, all right, we're a real dumpster fire. We're very toxic. How can we make other teams a little more toxic and a little bit more of dumpster fire? Oh, let's drag some of their superstars into trade talk stuff with Kevin Durant. Let's do that. Even Kevin could be I've been in this league for a long time and I've seen this happen before where we put trade talks out there and we get other people's names involved. It can really mess up other teams and cause them dysfunction. Well, that's part of what's happening with Toronto and Boston is that these guys are coming and they want to put our guys' names like OG and Gary, Jaylen Brown, and it kind of does cause a little bit of uncertainty. It causes a lot of fans to talk shit and say stupid shit in social media, and it just causes problems for teams that weren't even there just because Kevin's saying I want to get traded to this team. And it's all out in public and stuff like that. That could be a very conscious decision by the Nets to try and cause chaos around the NBA and cause little ruffles and maybe cause a little problem on another team. I could see that more in Boston, especially with Jaylen Brown and how he's been disrespected for so many years in different ways around Celtics Nation. Now with Toronto, it's a little weird. We're very in-house and secretive and stuff like that. But also, even though we're secretive and in-house with the press and not leaking things, we're not with our players. And that's what I'm saying. Like I said yesterday, Thad Young let it be known that when the Raptors traded for him from San Antonio, they told him straight up, we're going to sign you again this summer and we're going to get you for 2 more years after this contract runs out. That they're very open, communicative with their players. So, and way Scottie carries himself on Twitch. Since all of this Kevin Durant trade stuff has started, he's very confident. He's not worried. He knows which team he's on and where he's at. And that's what I'm saying. All it takes is Masai Ujiri assuring Scottie Barnes, I'm not going to trade you. You are a part of our future. You are the guy we want to build around. And Scottie hearing that and be like, wow, okay, cool. I feel better. I feel loved. I feel right being in Toronto. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because, a young guy like him could get caught up in it and get a little worried and stuff like that. He's not worried about trade talks or anything like that, things with Kevin Durant right now, which is awesome. Very awesome. Seymour Sim, major dumpster fire. In fact, guys, in the dumpster fire rankings, I have flipped Brooklyn and put them in number one, and the Lakers are number two now. Yeah, especially since the Lakers are not going to bring in Rasheed Wallace as an assistant coach. That kind of gives them a point from avoiding more of a dumpster fire. And Brooklyn, you just look desperate, and like there's all kinds of weird dumpster fire things going on with your team on the down low. You may act like y'all are strong, and the NBA media is going to say you're a contender in the East, just guys default. But that's actually a lie. You guys are not a contender for the East this year. You're all over the place and in shambles. And Ben Simmons is going to be one of your new big key players on your team. Yeah, good luck with that. Brooklyn, you're going to suck this year. I'm going to tell you that. No matter what happens with you guys, even if you pull off a trade for Kyrie or KD, you're going to suck next year. Brooklyn Nets will suck next year. And I'm sure Random Gamer, Philadelphia fan, doesn't mind hearing that. Random Gamer saying KD just chose the worst time to demand a trade, probably because of that. 4 years left on his contract. Teams don't want to blow everything up for one player. Plus, teams are struggling to make contracts work. Yeah, these huge contracts are real, like albatrosses around necks. Like you can't move these easily. We're seeing this with Russell. We're seeing this with Kyrie. We're seeing this with Kevin. It's on, like I said, there's a carousel of dumpster fires that they just kind of get spread. This is our problem. Okay, well, we'll trade you our problem for your problem. Harden for Simmons. It's that kind of thing. Now, Harden may be putting his fire out and making himself into a serviceable, good pro. And his dumpster fire may be going out a bit just because of how he's treating this offseason with helping you guys with your cap and also working out and looking like he's in good shape. So that's the thing. It's like sometimes you got to trade a dumpster fire for a dumpster fire. So Brooklyn, if you really want to get rid of Kyrie and you trade him to the Lakers, you're going to have to take Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry. And you're going to have to like it. And you may even have to say it's just straight up and not have any picks involved. Just do Russell for Kyrie straight up. And, Lakers will be happy and you guys will be rid of Kyrie. So I don't know. Brooklyn, you're going to lose either way. Like if you get Russell and Ben Simmons on the same team and Kevin's still around and he's pissed off, you think that it's going to be a recipe for success? All right. Joseph Starks is saying, is this year's bench going to be our most complete bench? I cannot think of another year where we really want to keep everyone at camp. Well, everyone except Svi. Also, what seed do you think we will be? I think our bench could be very, very deep and very strong this year. The one thing that'll be different about our bench compared to most years in the Raptors history is it won't be most. I think we'll have more experience on our bench, like around when we won the championship. Like that is an important thing for a championship team is to have a player off the bench like Otto Porter Jr. and stuff like that. So I think our bench will be way more capable than last year, way more dependable, and that'll help with limiting the minutes for the main Raptor guys. Nobody averaging over 40 minutes this year. Thank you. Please, come on, let's do that because we have more guys that can fill in time and take more of the minutes away from the top guys like Fred and Scottie and Pascal. So we'll have to see. Let's see. I don't know if Svi's the only one, or is on that list. We once again, like I said yesterday, we kind of let training camp happen and see how these guys come in and what they look like. Svi could have a lot of determination and look really good and be the guy that we were hoping we were going to get last year. So they all got a chance still, like Justin, Armani, DJ Wilson, Juancho. They all have a chance to make this team, but they have to do the work in the months leading up to September for training camp and preseason, stuff like that. So, and the seed that I think we'll end up being in is number one. I honestly do. I always rank us way higher, but I'm just looking at the things that happened last year and how our rosters changed. And just other things. If we have good health this year, we're going to be the number one team in the East. That career-wise, Nick Nurse wins 60% of his games. You can go look at the stats. In his career, he has won 60% of his games. And if we win a 60%, we will probably be the top of the East. There's a lot of parity in the Eastern Conference right now. There's a lot of good teams. And there was no head and shoulders above the other teams in the East. You can't say that about Boston. You can't say that about Miami. You can't say that about Milwaukee. They're all about the same. And we're actually right there with those three teams on the down low. People don't want to admit it, but it's the damn truth. And listen, last year we had a slow start to the season. We had bad health, and we didn't really start get going until January. And we picked it up and got to fifth place. And that was having a record that was below 500 at New Year's. Remember that, guys. We had a losing record at New Year's Eve of last season, and we picked it up and got to where we got over 500 by the end of the season. So we don't have any injuries at the beginning of the year. Pascal is healthy and playing right away. I expect us to be near the top of the Eastern Conference for the whole entire year. That we will be in the top four, if not the top team in the East. And people may think I'm crazy for saying that, but the evidence is there, and that it's going to take good health and just the guys being all together and knowing each other even better now. Look out. They're going to be rolling this year. And I want them to be number one because I liked it when we were number one a couple of years we've been in recent years and stuff like that. Let's keep going. Yeah. Zion's contract has a weight clause. G's talking about this. Yeah, this is good. This is good. They should have it for him in some ways, just because that has been an issue for him. Missing games is his weight. And if he wants to make his millions of dollars and be an NBA superstar, well, get with the program, Zion. And this will maybe be a way to really encourage him and get him with the program and stuff like that. Monique saying, Tom, I'm glad you brought up the 6'10". Thanks, Nick Nurse. Laugh out loud about Scottie. Yeah, listen, who knows? Scottie is still growing. He could get an inch or two still in the first couple of years of his NBA career. That's what happened with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett came in the league at 6'9" and was listed at 6'9", and he eventually became a 7-footer in the first 2 years of his NBA career. G saying the Nets before these major trades was a good, young, exciting, up-and-coming team. This is actually true. And this is G talking about Jared Allen, Karis LeVert kind of time. Like when they had these young players on their team, they sacrificed all of them to go old and do this super team, and it's failed. And that's what I'm saying. These quick ways to try and get championships, they don't work anymore. You got to do it right. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the development. You got to have the core built together. You can't just add superstars and put them on the same team and expect championships to happen, Lakers or Nets. And the way that the Raptors won a championship, the way that the Bucks won a championship is more the right way to do it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. And it's weird that, the Nets really screwed up. They were kind of on the right path, but they didn't stick to it. They went for an easy route, and now they're getting burned for it. Random Gamer saying, facts, G. I'm actually mad they blew that team up. That team was so much fun to watch. Yeah, that Nets team, that was the team we swept in the first round a couple years ago. In the year after we won the championship, we beat them in the first round of the bubble and like really swept in the Nets then. But that was that nucleus at that time still. Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and they had other great guys. Like Joe Harris was a part of that nucleus. He's still on the team, but he was more involved and more important at that time too and stuff. So I wasn't upset about that, Random Gamer. Come on, we're division rivals with them. We want to see them have kind of downs, not so much ups and downs. Let's keep them on the downs. G saying this is why our fans who want to give away all our picks are don't understand, and how that will hurt the team in the short term and long term. Yeah, exactly. This is short-sightedness. This is, once again, people want to change their players and their team just like their underwear. And it's stupid. You want to invest time. Look at Golden State. Just won the championship again. They've invested so much time in Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. And then they invest in other guys around them at different stages of their dynasty. And that's who we should be emulating. That Fred VanVleet needs to be our Steph Curry. And Pascal Siakam needs to be our Klay Thompson. And that these are guys that we want to have that bridge from the first championship for the Raptors to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, to the fifth one, to the sixth one, to the seventh one. That's what I'm saying. Fred wants to be like Steph. He wants to have enough rings to put on one hand and maybe on another one. And I know that may be a tall order and may be dreaming, but this is what's on his vision board. He wants to be known as a champion. He doesn't care about anything else. He just wants to be known as a champion. So that's why when people say trade Fred VanVleet, trade Pascal, they're stupid. And that's why I will shoot them down every single time, because those two guys in particular are very, very important if we're going to mimic the Warriors and be more like the Warriors franchise and trying to win a dynasty of championships and stuff like that. So, yeah, these fans, like the way that people talk about Kem Birch is so uneducated. Like, I don't even understand why people diss Kem Birch so much. Kem Birch is a great NBA pro. Kem Birch is one of the few guys in the league that has a really good seal of a defensive job down near the basket. He is a great rebounder, great pick setter. There's so much to like about Kem. In fact, last night when people were kind of slagging on Kem in Scottie's Twitch stream, I was standing up for Kem and I was saying, look, why don't you ask Big Four right here what he thinks of Kem Birch and what he does for the Toronto Raptors? And you'll hear him put him in high esteem and say, this is one of the dudes I'm glad I'm going to the fight with beside me every night and stuff like that. So, people, the disconnect between what NBA fans think is cool or great in the league and what really is meat and potatoes good and stuff like that is not very close sometimes. That sometimes people just don't understand a role player like Kem Birch is part of a championship team. That you don't trade somebody like him just because you think he sucks at offense or something like that. You just care about dunks and scoring, you're an idiot. You got to care about rebounding and defense first. If you're a basketball fan, you want your team to win. Rebounding and defense are the first important building blocks, not dunks, not amazing three-point shots, not flashiness, no substance. You got to have some real substance in your game. And Kem Birch is dirty work, substance kind of player. And he's very invaluable to our team and stuff like that. So it's stuff like that that makes me think, people don't know what they're talking about when they're talking about people like Kem Birch and stuff like that. If you start dissing Kem Birch to me, I'm going to say you don't know basketball. You don't understand basketball. Joseph Stark saying Nick Nurse may have been excited, exaggerated a bit, maybe drinking that European Fiji water. Scottie is to me about 6'8". I hope I'm wrong, though. We'll see. Well, we asked Scottie straight up on his Twitch, how tall are you, Scottie? He says he's 6'9", Joseph Starks. So if we're asking the source, the man, if he knows, maybe he has it on his driver's license. I don't know. He says he's 6'9", and it's also all over his social media. Go look at his Instagram. It says 6'9" point guard in his description. That's right. He is a 6'9" point guard as his own way of describing himself. I'm a fun guy. I would rather trade for Donovan Mitchell and put him next to VanVleet, to be honest, than go do something with Kevin Durant. I don't want to go anywhere near Donovan Mitchell. In fact, somebody had a really good breakdown on Twitter this week about why Donovan Mitchell would be bad for the Raptors, because he would completely bust up our positionless scheme. In fact, he's a liability on defense. If we could get away with having him on the team and covering up for him, but would it be worth it? I don't think it's worth it. Like, great, he's a great player. He's an undersized guard. He's a great player, but I don't care. He doesn't fit our plan. He doesn't fit our scheme. He doesn't fit our team. And honestly, he's such a high usage player. I think he would take away from the young development of guys like Scottie and Precious. So I don't want ball hogs or ball black holes on our team. And that's what Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant might be to a degree. These veterans that demand the ball a lot, high usage, and that will take away from the kind of the shared community of the Raptors already. They're really good at balancing everything already. You bring another guy like the superstar like Durant or Donovan in, that really could mess up the ecosystem. It's like in nature. You bring in a new animal, it may start eating some of the other animals and they die, and then it messes up the whole thing and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to rock the boat with the great balance and chemistry of our team. And if you bring in either one of these superstars, you have a very, very much a danger of doing that and stuff like that. So, and I don't like undersized guys. I'm really am Vision 6'9", Bobby Webster. That's where I'm at. Monique Saint, I said top four. She thinks there'll be a top four Eastern Conference team, Toronto Raptors, this season. And I tend to agree. That's the bottom. I think we'll be in the top four for sure. A lot of people are saying, oh, you got to even make the playoffs. Some people are saying, oh, you'll be a play-in team. You'll be at the bottom of the playoffs. Nope, motherfucker, we're getting home court in the playoffs for this year. And you can hear me say it on July the 29th, 2022, that we will have home court in the playoffs in 2023. We will, for sure. I'm a fun guy saying, seriously think Delano should be in the G League. He's not even going to get minutes from us. That's an interesting prospect. And that may be part of why Koloko and Delano haven't been figured out. That there may be something weird going on with like allowing more of the other guys to be on the team by sacrificing them and putting them just on the G League level. Like, I don't know if we can do that. We can just straight up sign Delano and say, you're just G League this year. But next year, in your contract, you'll get a chance to be, once again, going both ways. I don't know. I don't know all the rules, like the specific rules about G League and the NBA and how you can divvy that up and how it pertains to rookies and second-year players, because Delano's a second-year player now. You can do it with rookies, but I don't know if you can with the other. And it could be the other thing is it could be that Delano's just in the same boat as Justin, that he doesn't have any extra favor or anything like that, and he could get cut in the training camp going into the season and be one of those three guys that gets cut. I hate thinking that, because I think because he's from Toronto and he has a lot of potential that we wouldn't do that, but it's possible and stuff like that. I don't know. The more this goes on without knowing more about Coloco's contract and Delano's contract, the more mystified I'm going to be about what their possible outcomes are for what's going to happen for them this season. Monique saying, Juancho Hernan Gomez already excited about being here, sharing on Instagram. Let's go. Yeah, this is great. I'm sure he's ecstatic. This is a great organization for him to come be a part of. I'm sure he talked to Marc Gasol and found out about Toronto and things about Toronto, and he's just heard all good things. And he's, this is good. But once again, he is on the outside looking in. He has to fight his way in to get in. And it may not happen. It may be that he is one of the people that gets cut this training camp, stuff like that. So we'll have to see. I'm a fun guy saying, hell no, I'm not fucking trading Pascal, not even for Durant. No, not with the way, like, when do you ever get a combination of what Pascal is? Such a hard worker, working so hard. It doesn't matter if he got fat bag. It doesn't matter if he got paid. He's not resting on his laurels. In fact, he may be going 10 times harder because he really wants to make sure he earned it and he proves it on the court. I mean, the bubble failure really imprinted on Pascal about his play and how he looks on the court. And that may have changed him forever. That he's going to be a maniacal person about always getting better, just so he doesn't have to go through the failure of what happened in that summer in the bubble and stuff like that. And hearing all the stuff and the people that are saying, oh, he didn't work out, he looked horrible. We would have won against Boston if Pascal hadn't loafed it the whole pandemic and not done anything. So, that's partly what drives him at this point, is that he doesn't want to be critiqued or put down, and he's making sure he's the absolute best that he can be. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Joseph Stark saying Delano having a lot of turnovers in the summer league judging is wrong. He was the main ball handler in a team of new teammates, new system, new schemes. Anyone who has played basketball knows that. First game with these circumstances is turnover city. I'm tired of people judging Delano based on those turnovers. 90% of it was the team's fault. Go Raps. Yeah, some of them were specifically Coloco, just not knowing how to catch the ball yet in the NBA level, how quick the ball may come to him, or not being aware because he hasn't played with Delano enough to understand that you might get a quick pass to the inside real quick all of a sudden from him. So there's a lot of truth to what Joseph Stark's saying here. I don't think Delano should be discounted for turnovers either. That really, the main thing that I look at with our players is, are they getting better? Do they have physical traits that really tend to lead to really solid NBA roles in the NBA, like at that level? That's the other thing. Are they getting better? And do they have a body and a skill set that will actually be able to be used and productive in the NBA on a scale and a certain level and stuff like that? So, yeah, Monique saying, hell no to Mitchell. Yeah, see, she doesn't want Donovan Mitchell either. I'm not a big fan of his. I think he's a great player. I love that they did that duel, him and Jamal Murray, a lot of points in the bubble and stuff like that. And, he's good and everything, but he's not a good fit for the Raptors. And I think we did this this summer. We did a think tank on Donovan Mitchell and his look on the Raptors. And we decided that this is not a good fit, that he just doesn't look right in a Raptor jersey, even though he did that dunk contest wearing a Raptor jersey. He just doesn't look right. He's not the right fit for our team identity is what I'm saying. Monique saying, what did you take away from all those interviews from Nick Nurse? I'm stoked. I haven't watched them yet, Monique. I'm going to have to go find them now. Last night we were on with Scottie for 4 hours. He was on Twitch. He got on around 7 and finished up right around midnight. and he was on there for a long time. He was switching all around. In the beginning, he was playing multiverses, which is a game where you have a fight game where it's two on two or one on one, and he was playing as a golden Superman. Which was cool. And he was very dominant in that game with his Superman character, beating people up, beating them down, and stuff like that. But then his friend had to leave, and then he was switching around. I think he played COD for a little while with a couple of guys, running around shooting guns. Then he went to NBA 2K for a little bit. Then he was doing reactions for a little bit in the middle of there, not very long on the reactions. And it was more him just watching Gideon, his friend Gideon, walk around Calgary being a troll. He got like a referee shirt and he went and acted like he was a fake referee. So he's reacting to a friend of his that he met at Summer League at Las Vegas, an internet personality, and one of his clips on his channel. He's kind of looking at stuff like that. So there's a couple of different things that happened last night that were fun. And as I remember them, I'll tell you guys. If Tom and Shane that are here, if they remember anything of note from the stream last night that they want to mention, please remind me and we'll talk about it. Let's see. My brother's here. Good morning, Carl Otts. I love you, Carl. I hope you guys have a great weekend this weekend. Hang out with the folks. Go have some fun times with them in Atlanta before they take off on Monday to go back to Tallahassee again for a bit. But yeah, man, I love you, Carl, and I miss you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great week. G saying Precious is practicing his dunk contest. Man, he'd be so good in the dunk contest. Like Precious is really exciting when he's dunking. And like I said, like I'm enjoying this week seeing him and Scottie post dunks on Instagram. Like I want to see more of that. I was telling Scottie that last night. I was like, Scottie, you guys posting dunks on Instagram is badass. I love seeing that kind of content and stuff like that. Let's see. I'm a fun guy saying Gideon is an OG. Watched him for years. Yeah, he's a good friend of Scottie's now. Like they really bonded at Las Vegas at Summer League, and he's like telling us that he's a really good dude. Like he really is a nice, fun guy to be around. Sorry, fun guy, but he's a fun guy, and Scottie was fast friends with him, like natural friends. Like, and the chat keeps talking to him about bringing him to Toronto and having him sit at courtside for a game and just be around. Maybe he'll do some content doing that or stuff like that. They were also a little worried because Gideon is he's banned from Twitch for some reason. I don't know what he did on there. And they were worried about Scottie watching his clips and getting banned himself. But I don't think it works that way. I think it's if he comes in and he's around, then you get in trouble or something like that. I don't know. Seymour saying Precious, Otto, Young, Porter. Precious, Otto, Young, Boucher. Who's first five off the bench? Wow, that's a big question, Seymour. I think that if we start our lineup from last year, the most talented lineup, Fred, Gary, OG, Pascal, and Scottie, then it'll be similar to last year. It may be dependent on needs at that time. Like if we need some energy, Chris Boucher. If we need some size and just some good defensive stopping, Kem Birch. If we want to bring out our most talented guy off the bench and kind of bring him in first, Precious Achua. Maybe Fred needs a break. Malachi Flynn. I don't know. They can probably really do it on need-based kind of thing. But if we get in the right rhythm, we have everybody healthy. It'll be fun to see how Nick Nurse does the rotations and who he brings in first and for what reason and stuff like that. I think it really will be matchup dependent and also what is lacking on the court that he needs to get more of. Like say he needs a better shooter on the outside, then Otto Porter come in and stuff like that. So it could change. There may not be, it could be fun. Like he could do the thing like he did last year, the three-headed Canadian monster, where all of a sudden he's bringing in Birch, Banton, and Boucher all at the same time. And like they're coming in like as a line halfway through or near the end of the first quarter. And all of a sudden you see these three Canadian guys come out there and they're subbing in. Something like that. Joseph Stark saying, I think it's funny that VanVleet and Kyle Lowry both need to work out. VanVleet has said in the past he doesn't weight train. I hope this changed. The NBA is changing. Like, listen, in the offseason, in the way back, the NBA players, like they had to get other jobs. Like they didn't get paid enough. We're going way back in the history. They would go and work seasonal jobs on the off season while basketball wasn't going on. Well, now we're getting the point where it's like, all right, then there were players who were just getting paid, they're set. And there was probably a period of time where players didn't do a whole lot in the offseason. This is where you would see guys like Kyle Lowry come back and look like a balloon. like they hadn't worked out or done anything the whole year. There were probably times and years where players just didn't do anything. Well, at this point, to have a competitive edge in the NBA, you have to be working really hard in the off season, and you have to do this kind of stuff. And if you're not, it'll show in the season when it starts. You'll be behind everybody else because you'll be trying to get back in shape. Players like Shaq and James Harden are notorious for showing up to camp out of shape and having to work into shape as the season progresses. Well, that's the difference. Is like guys are getting a jump start. It may be that Fred earlier in his career and stuff like slacked a little bit in the offseason, really took time off. But now he understands that, like at this point in his career, he really has to put in hard work and continue to get better because that's the way this league is. It's such a cutthroat league at this point. If you're not continually adding skills and getting better in the offseason year after year, then you could get the game could pass you by and you could be out of it all of a sudden. So this is in a way insurance for NBA players to stay in the league. Is like, all right, well, I'm diversifying my skill set. DeMar DeRozan, I'm going to learn to how to shoot a three this offseason and come back and be able to shoot a three for the Raptors. It's that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can't take an off season off anymore. And Fred actually has talked about this in interviews before. He's like, yeah, I used to treat the off season differently, but now very serious about it, and he works out. And the thing about this offseason for Fred was he was trying to balance rehabbing his knee and getting it healthy with getting intense workouts this summer also. So in the beginning of this summer, right after they stopped playing, he had to wait a little bit and rest for a bit. But then when he started to feel better, he went at it, started going full force with his workouts and stuff like that. So all right, let's see. Yeah, so Kyle, it's interesting to see Kyle Lowry and how svelte he's looking in July right now. Normally, Kyle would have a bit of a punch and something like that going on right now. And all the years he'd come back for the Raptors and he'd look out of shape, it'd be like, well, it's Kyle, and he's just got to get into shape as the season goes in. Stuff like that. Speaking of Kyle, he's coming back to Toronto next week for Nick Nurse's charity golf game. So he's coming back. I think there's somebody else of note that's playing in that game also. I'm not sure who it is. I forgot. Who's playing in that charity game also, Monique, other than Kyle Lowry, Nick Nurse's charity game? I'm not sure. We did Scottie on Twitch talking about a couple of things. He will not be at OVO Festival. He will not be at Caravana. He's talked about his birthday a little bit on Monday, and he told us that he will not be in Toronto or Florida for his birthday. I have no idea where he'll be then. I have two guesses. He's either going to be in California because he's going there for the beginning of August for a basketball camp, or he's going to be in Montreal because he really loved Montreal. Those are my two educated guesses to be where Scottie might be for his birthday. We're not sure exactly where he's going to be. And what else was he saying? There's a couple other things. I got to remember them from what he was saying last night. Okay, let's keep going. Monique's saying, oh, wait, hang on. I don't want to skip any of the things. Okay, I'm a fun guy saying a bench lineup of Otto, Boucher, Precious, Wancho, and Downton sounds so sweet. Yeah, those are good quality players. And, throw in some of the other guys that you didn't mention, like Cam and, Malachi. You will see. Monique saying, do you think Darnell VanVleet's new gig is a side thing because him and Co run Fred VanVleet's shop? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Fred's bankrolling this project Green Mountain with Darnell VanVleet. I don't know. It could be that Darnell does like the stuff for his Bet on Yourself line, and then he's doing this also. I'm sure there's enough work for him to do. And maybe there's, they have another brother could be involved also. There's also Fred's fiance. Who knows who's doing all this stuff with them? But Darnell is definitely in charge of Green Mountain. And we'll have to see how it all goes. It's very intriguing to me. I don't exactly understand what their company is going to be doing and how they'll be working with the NBA. But if they're supplying the NBA with marijuana, that's going to be maybe very lucrative. Tom Duke saying hot hand will be in effect with who starts. And when people come off the bench, they just sit there. Well, they'll get chances. It'll come around. That's just the way an NBA team works, is that sometimes it's like your number gets called finally, and you have to come in and step in and help out because somebody's not able to be there or something like that. Tom thinks that Precious will be playing big minutes this year. I think so too. I think that he'll demand minutes because his play is just so outstanding. and stuff like that. I'm a fun guy saying I actually disagree with the majority about Precious. I seriously think he could take a minor step back due to so much depth, especially when Precious struggles. That's an interesting take, and fun guy is, it could be in the realm of possibility. So, yeah, I think that in some ways we are looking at him, and maybe we are ideally idealizing what we think will happen with him. But I'm going to say this: I will respect and listen to Nick Nurse's opinion on this. And if he thinks that he's going to have a jump this season, that's probably a good sign and stuff like that. But you know what? It could go that kind of way that Fun Guy's saying, but I don't think so. Precious has a weird mindset. He's a very interesting person. Like does not believe in losing. He does not believe in a perception that things are bad or things are wrong or things are just what they are. And he goes and does what he can to make sure something good happens. So he's not the kind of person that will lose confidence in a weird way. That's the weird thing. I don't think Precious is the kind of guy who will lose confidence, which is kind of a good trait to have an NBA player that's so young. Because he's very confident, and either way, like even if he has some failure or mistakes, he's the kind of guy that'll wipe it away in seconds and have a huge play like immediately after. So he doesn't hang his head or get down or anything like that. That may very help him avoid what I'm a Fun Guy is describing here, is that he has a very short memory and he's very, very confident. And that if he has a couple of stumbling blocks or failures and stuff like that, that's not going to stop him. He's just going to keep going and stuff like that. It's just the way he looks at things. Like it's really interesting. When he was coming into the Raptors last year, he said something about he's talking about something manifesting your dreams and not believing in failure. He was talking about that kind of stuff, and that's what really starting point of how I think about how Precious thinks is that he's very positive and very confident. So, all right, let's keep going. Joseph Stark saying that, Mo, I think VanVleet is trying to monopolize the NBA players' weed market. Smart move, in my opinion. Can you imagine the purchases? Yeah, this is very smart business. If they're going to be involved at the ground level of something new and a new relationship between marijuana and the NBA, and Darnell and Fred VanVleet are going to make some money off it, hell yeah, go do it, VanVleet brothers. That's awesome. Let's see. Monique saying congratulations to Norman Powell on his Understand the Grind launch party. Looked amazing. Yeah, it looked like a very classy event. I could see his family was there with him, and they were all dressed to the nines, just having a good time. Good stuff. We always root for Norman. Norman is a good standing Raptor legend, somebody that we care about immensely, and we'll always have a place at the table for him in Toronto to come and celebrate his Raptors legacy also and stuff like that. Love Norman. Norman is the best. Joseph saying, common, y'all. It's obvious. Scottie is definitely hanging out with a girl on his birthday. Game recognizes game. Well, I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting. Not that I care about this or I'm trying to figure this out while I'm hanging out with Scottie on Twitch and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure Scottie doesn't have a girlfriend. A lot of these young Raptors have been really smart about how they handle their careers. Maybe they get taught, they see things that have happened to other celebrities in the past with relationships and ugliness, and it's a distraction. And then maybe, they've been advised, if you don't get mixed up with people, you won't go through this emotional heartache and have all this distraction that may take away from things. And this may be the mature thing with this. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have any serious girlfriend, that he doesn't have friends, if you know what I mean. Casual friends that maybe he sees and that's it and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that either, So I don't know. It's the kind of thing where it's like Sky can do whatever the fuck he wants on his birthday. And what would he choose to do? Where would he choose to be? Who would he choose to be with? And what would the activities be? Like if we see him on Twitch on Monday, that'll be fun. I'll be really happy to see him on Twitch. But that'll also tell us that like he really loves being on Twitch with us, that this is what he's choosing to do on his birthday. So we'll see. People ask him about his romantic life all the time in the Twitch, and he's nothing. He has nothing to say. And in some ways, Scotty's a big kid. I don't know how much. I don't even know where to go with all this stuff as far as talking about him and his romantic life. It is what it is. I'm sure that there are women around him somewhere or someplace, but there's no one woman, there's no important woman that is just her, like Ron Harper has with his girlfriend, stuff like that. It's just, that kind of thing. I don't know. It's a mystery, and in some ways it's none of my business, and I don't care. It's like his life; he can do whatever he wants and stuff like that. But it'd be interesting we'll see where he's going to be on Monday when he turns 21, and we'll see where he is and what he's doing and who he's with. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe he'll go private. We don't know. All right, let's see. I'm a fun guy saying, yeah, I could totally see Scottie getting some on his birthday. Yeah, probably. And I hope he does. I hope he does. Seriously. Who knows? Maybe this whole weekend will be something fun like that. It's really interesting to me that Scottie's in Toronto right now. Like, I really thought he was going to be in Florida right up until his birthday, but he got on a plane yesterday and came back to Toronto. He's here back in the six. That's where he was on the Twitch last night. So he's back here for some reason. I'm not totally sure why. It could be that he's just making a pit stop. He's stopping by. His PC, his new awesome PC that he loves is here. So I don't know. Maybe he came back so he could be on his PC here. Maybe there's some sort of business going on here or something. But he is in Toronto, at least for yesterday and today. But maybe he's getting right back on a plane and going somewhere else for his birthday for Monday. So that'll be interesting. Scottie probably loves short women. I don't know. We don't know. Who knows? Scottie is his own person. And in a lot of ways, we need to respect his privacy in this area of his life. Like the chat has been so wrong with some of the questions they've asked about his personal life and stuff like that, about his body, about I bet you're going around just getting shorties left and right in Toronto and stuff like that. And it was like, this is inappropriate in some ways and stuff like that. We don't need to be asking him about this side of his life. That is a private side, and that is his own damn business. And as a person that's going to his Twitch and revealing secrets and stuff that's going on there, I have a line that I'll cross, and it's an ethical line, and I won't cross. And that also is something that I respect and love Scottie as a person and a player, that I don't want to do him wrong by, putting his business out there in some ways. So I just want to give good factual stuff that you guys want to know, but not cross the line. Like, somebody's asking him where he lives in Toronto last night on the chat. Like, I know where he lives in Toronto, but I'm not going to tell you guys exactly where he lives, because it's not right. You shouldn't tell people that kind of stuff and blow their cover and stuff like that. I can tell you maybe the neighborhood, but I'm not going to tell you where he lives. All right, let's keep going. CC saying Darnell VanVleet is on the board of directors consulting cannabis use for athletes rehab. He's not listed as an owner. No info on who are the investors. Well, we can probably guess. We know who the investor is. We know who the investor is. He's the man with the bag that's standing next to him that has the same last name. So it'll be interesting. The more we find out about this stuff, I appreciate your clearing this up, CC, and stuff like that. So maybe he's just running it, maybe that kind of thing and stuff like that. But this is, to me, from my own experience with marijuana and cannabis, it can be really helpful to somebody with aches and pains. With, if you're sore the next day after a basketball game, smoking a joint can really, really help you kind of get some of that ache out of your body. And, the thing is, you don't have to smoke this stuff anymore. Like, that was the whole big detriment of marijuana, is just like cigarettes. It causes damage to your, respiratory. Well, you can actually take the CBD in all kinds of different ways now, whether it's on food, whether it's just a capsule, where there's all kinds of different ways you can do it, and it's less harmful, like the smoke is to your body. So that's the thing about this technology at this point, that there's really no downside to it as far as it having harmful side effects to you, that you can only get benefits from it in a lot of ways, that, once you take the smoking out of it and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Monique is saying, Lex, the golf charity game with Kyle and Nick Nurse and a special guest. I'm assuming there's somebody else. I want to say maybe Scottie's playing in it too. Maybe it's Nick Nurse, Scottie. I forget. Somebody listed. All right. I think it's let me go just look at it. I know it's one of the twits that said it. It's either Grange or Lewinberg that posted it. Let me see who said it. Because I want to clear this up. I think it's another really cool name, really. I think it's Lewinberg that said it. Nick Nurse and his foundation are hosting a charity golf tournament just north of Toronto next. Oh yeah, the other special guest. This is huge. And Sixer fan, you'll love this. Julius Irving. That's right. Nick Nurse has got Dr. J and Kyle Lowry coming to his charity game next week here north of Toronto. They're going to play a charity golf game, and Dr. J is coming for it. That's awesome. That's so cool that Julius is going to be a part of Nick Nurse's charity game. So that's who it was. It's Dr. J. I'm like, hell yeah. I was like really impressed when I saw Nick Nurse got Dr. J coming. That is very cool. All right. It's now or never is here. Okay. This is looking like a Nets fan. Brooklyn Nets big three of Simmons, KD, and Kyrie are looking for Raptor food. Are you worried about KD this year? No. No. Listen, that sounds like a dumpster fire recipe. I'm telling you, whenever you have the name Kyrie Irving involved, whenever you have the name Ben Simmons involved, these are dumpster fires on the down low. These are players that can cause so much trouble for a team internally. We saw that last year. Didn't Kyrie wreck your season last year, Nets fan? Didn't Kyrie wreck your season last year? You know he did. Well, you could just figure out another new way to wreck your season this year. That's what Kyrie does. That's the folly of Kyrie. Go ask Celtics fan about Kyrie and coming to them and playing with them and how he left them and stuff like that. This is the same damn thing for y'all. And Ben Simmons, really? You got a lot of faith in him? Man, he's the most overvalued, overhyped player in the NBA. To me, the man can't even shoot. And they talk about him like he's going to be the next LeBron. It's so stupid. Listen, you got a dumpster fire on your hands this year in Brooklyn. Seriously, y'all are not. You guys may be lucky if you do just as well as you did last year and make the play in. I'm not lying because listen, if KD is still on your team for next season, you're gonna have problems. He's not gonna be happy being on the Nets this year because he wants out. It's obvious. He's saying it this summer. And if they don't get him what he wants, he doesn't leave, and you guys don't get something for it, y'all are going to suck this year. Yeah, you're going to suck. Even if you have these guys that are so great, it doesn't matter. It's all about team play now. You can have all the big names on paper you want, but it doesn't translate to really winning in the NBA anymore. So yeah, I'm not worried about them. We're gonna beat Brooklyn's ass. Like seriously, like we beat y'all a lot last year. It was fun. I was at one of the games where we beat Brooklyn down. The one when Goran came back and he was on Brooklyn. We booed the shit out of him and he missed a couple free throws and we beat y'all right at the end of the game. Oh, that was such a fun game. Oh my gosh, that Brooklyn game. Oh man, we played a back-to-back series with you guys. We played you guys in Brooklyn and then we played you guys in Toronto. Night back-to-back, 2 nights in a row. And we won both of them. So I don't know, Brooklyn. You tell me. Are you worried about Koloko being another level of defensive hell for your team when you have to play the Raptors? Because all of a sudden we got a shot blocker, somebody that we got all these fidget spinners at length that are going to knock the ball and deflect the ball. In the middle of the court, you've got Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent. They have a green light to go and just steal the ball from whoever's carrying the ball and gamble, because they know that they have all these plus defenders behind them ready to catch the guy who gets by them and clean it up. So they can gamble and go for more steals and get steals off of other players. And then boom, you got the final level of hell. Christian Koloko, as he develops over his young career, he's going to become more and more of a rim protector for the Raptors. And it's going to be more and more over for other teams. We were hard to score on last year. Look out. We're going to be even harder to score on this year, especially since we have even more length and experience on our team. So yeah, I would be turning around this and asking you, are you worried about playing the Raptors? How about that, Nets fan? Because I'll say that I'm not worried about y'all. I mean, especially if you get stuck with Kyrie and Kevin still on your team this year, good. Get ready for another year of dysfunction and just failure. How about that? All right, let's see. Joseph Starks is saying at CC, now or never. The fact that you are laughing at the idea of your best player being in a trade. Okay, hang on. I skipped a bit. All right, hang on. I want to make sure I get all of these. At CC, Joseph Stark saying, being on that board is a great accolade for his personal business of selling weed. Get it? Again, more proof of smart moves by the VanVleets. Well, Fred's very astute, very smart. I mean, look at his bet on yourself line. That's a really badass line. And he's making it into a business. Well, this is their new venture. And this could be informing us earlier this summer when they were flying over a patch of land over a field and taking pictures, that may be where they're growing it, and that may be where they're building this project and stuff like that. So very interesting. G saying my guess is Montreal for birthday bash. So G thinks he's going to Montreal for the birthday bash. That he had such a good time in Montreal that he wants to recapture it for his birthday. I'm leaning more towards that he may be just going to California and he may be spending it there. Just because I know on the 5th he will be in California for a a basketball camp with other NBA players are there appearing also. So, all right, let's see. Joe Stark saying at G laughing. That's what I was thinking. You think what G said about that he's gonna be in Montreal. Yeah. I'm a fun guy. Speaking of weed, I'm off to smoke some. See you guys later. All right, G. I mean, all right, fun guy. Yeah, I'll be there too. And when I'm done, and we're just over an hour, I'll keep going. There's enough to talk about. We got a lot of chat here. G's telling you to enjoy. It's now or never saying, I think the Raptors are upset KD turned them down. KD didn't turn us down. That's not what happens. You want me to illuminate the situation for you? All right, listen. Brooklyn fan, KD doesn't want to be on your team. KD has realized that you guys are not going anywhere, that he doesn't see that you guys are going to win a championship in the next couple of years. KD's looking at his career and seeing that he doesn't have a lot of time left in the NBA, that he's got valuable years now to try and get more in the conversation with Steph Curry and LeBron James and people like that. He needs to win championships before he retires, so he can be in the greatest of all time debate. He can't do that in Brooklyn right now. He realizes that. That's why he's desperate to leave you guys. Now, the thing is, you guys, Sean Marks is saying, well, we don't want to get fleeced. We want to make sure we get the absolute best for him. So you guys are asking way too much. You talked to Toronto, but Toronto didn't ever put Scottie Barnes on the table. Scottie's not on the table. Pascal's not on the table. I'll bet you even money that Fred VanVleet was never even allowed to be in these trade talks with you guys for Brooklyn Nets. We offered a couple of our other players in a deal, which wasn't good enough for Sean Marks. He said no. He wanted Scottie. He said, this is the deal we want. We have to have Scottie in the deal. And Masai said, okay, well, go fuck yourself. Fuck Brooklyn. We don't give a shit. You're not getting the rookie of the year. He's on our team. He's a building block for our future, and the Nets can go fuck themselves. We do not want Kevin Durant. We never asked for Kevin Durant. We never had him in our plans. That this is just an opportunity that came up and that we had to go and discover what it's all about. And maybe this could happen. Well, we discovered the Nets are full of shit and they want way too much for Kevin Durant. In fact, they're being unrealistic about what they want for Kevin Durant. And that's why this move's not happening. So you put them 2 and 2 together, Nets. What's going to happen is you're going to have a guy who's disgruntled, who's on your team that's not able to move. Because first of all, your GM's greedy and wants all kinds of stuff from the Lakers, all kinds of stuff from us, all kinds of stuff from Miami and Boston. And we're all saying, you're crazy. We're not going to give that up for Kevin Durant at this point in his career. So it's a stalemate. And the problem is all solely on your team. Yeah, the problems are all solely on your team. We're fine. We're just doing exactly what we were supposed to do this summer, is continue to develop our young players and stay the course. All of our players are very happy playing together and want to be on this team. They believe in each other. They've said, this is the guys that we want to be in the foxhole with. Meanwhile, your guys are all saying, we don't want to be in this foxhole with each other. Kyrie wants to be in the Lakers and Kevin wants to be anywhere else other than Brooklyn. So don't get it twisted. This is not what happened as far as like you're saying that KD turned us down. No, KD wants to be a Raptor. He wants to be a Raptor more than he wants to be a Net. It's just that your GM is wanting so much that we're saying no. We're not going to do this. In fact, you guys need to be bailed out, and you're just hoping and praying some teams will bail you out with your big problem players, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And it's not happening. And it's looking like y'all might have to run it back with who you have. And, you know, you take James Harden out of the situation, you put Ben Simmons in it. Ben Simmons is already pissing Kevin Durant off. You know he is on the down low. Like, he looks at him and he thinks he's a clown. So, look, you tell me how Nets are going to do this year and stuff like that. Seriously, I'll talk the smack down on the Nets all day today because they deserve it. And y'all are a dumpster fire of dysfunction. Just go look in the mirror and really talk to yourself about this and realize that you guys are not an elite team in this league, that you've been parading and acting like you are, but you never really were. that you were on paper, but paper doesn't mean jack shit when the 48 minutes start in the lines and the court and the play happens out there. That you can look real good on paper, have 3 Hall of Famers, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then it's a dumpster fire. And that's what you got is a dumpster fire in Brooklyn. You're just waiting for somebody to come and save you. Well, Masai Ujiri is just saying, fuck you, Brooklyn. We don't give a shit. It's your own damn problems. We don't have to help you. We're set. We got who we want, and we're going to win a lot this year. Meanwhile, you guys are going to have internal problems. And that's just the damn truth of it. That is the truth of it. Isaac Campbell, he retracted his message. G saying, KD didn't turn the Raptors down. Masai turned down them wanting Scottie. We're not hurting. Exactly what G just said, exactly what I've been saying. We don't need to make a deal. Y'all came to us, and we said no. So we rejected y'all. How about that? That's what happened. Monique saying, news and notes. Scarborough Shooting Stars only have 5 more games after last night. All right, CBL season winding down. CBL playoffs will be starting. Scarborough's in the playoffs. It's going to be fun. CC looking at Joseph Starks with funny faces. As now or never saying, how disappointed are you in not getting KD? Bet y'all are pretty devastated. No, we never wanted him. We never had any lust for him. He put himself out there, and we were just exploring the options, seeing if this is possible, seeing if this is even worth it. And we decided it's not. It's not worth it. A rental of having him for however long, for him being old and stuff like that. Listen, KD needs Toronto way more than we need him. He wants to win championships, and he knows if he comes here, he will win championships. That's why he's dying to come here. He would love to be in Toronto. So don't get it twisted. We're not disappointed. We're going to be fine. We're winning championships regardless. With KD or not with KD, we're going to win a championship very soon. And the Nets are not going to win a championship. Just trust me on this. G's saying, did you see Earl Watson's motivational speech? No, I'm going to have to watch that. I haven't heard Earl Watson do a whole lot of talking. I've never seen him talk a whole lot. I want to see this. I'm going to have to find that for sure. Joseph Stark saying, it's now or never. The fact that you are laughing at the idea of your best player being in trade talk speaks volumes. The real truth is your fan base is fragile, and you being here asking that question proves it. I mean, listen, he came here because Sean Marks' name is in my title. He's probably saw that this is a little bit about Brooklyn Nets today, and it is. And he wanted to come and investigate and see what's happening. Listen, exactly what Joseph Stark's saying here is like, you guys are a little bit like, you can't feel good about your team right now. I'm serious. You know that your best player does not want to be there. You know your second best player doesn't want to be there. How do Nets fans feel good about their team right now? Are you feeling good about your little free agency acquisitions around all that? Probably not. So I don't know. Nets fan, you're funny today. You're funny, and we'll play around with you like a cat plays around with a grasshopper. We'll bat you around a little bit until we get tired of playing with you, that kind of thing. All right, let's see. Now or never. Remember, Nets win the championship if KD's foot wasn't on the line. What? When was that? When was KD ever close to winning a championship when his foot was on the line? He wasn't. We beat KD in 2019. The Raptors beat Golden State. And then in Brooklyn, what has he fucking done in the playoffs or gone anywhere? Would you guys won a championship even with your franchise ever? So, I mean, really, seriously, you have no basis to talk shit talk. The only thing you have is that you're in New York and you got Jay-Z. And like, that's it. That's all flash. There's no substance to that. Y'all, until y'all win something, then come back and talk to us. We're on another level than y'all. The NBA may treat us lower than y'all, but we're on another level than y'all. We're above y'all in the NBA. And the Nets are a shittier franchise. That's just the damn truth. I mean, you can spin it every which way you want, ESPN. But the truth is the Toronto Raptors are a better run franchise in the NBA, and they're in better shape than the Brooklyn Nets. And they'll still try and put them higher on a list and do all this stuff. And it doesn't mean shit. We'll let them play the games next season, and we'll actually see who is really the better team. And you'll find out real quick. Isaac Campbell saying Raptors signed 3 NBA vets to minimum type contracts. That's like a super team, but no dumpster fire included. Today, the super team died. Happy Friday. Isaac Campbell, you're a badass. I love you, man. TGIF to you, sir. All right, let's see. I want to get through all of this, and I see you guys have written a lot. So I really want to make sure I get everybody's comment, and I really appreciate so many people being here today. All right, let's see. I'm a fun guy saying, I love Earl Watson so much. Our players have a real bond with him. I like watching coach reactions and Raptors highlights, and Earl is awesome. Earl's the G. You can tell Earl is like, because of his experience as an NBA player, real experience, and just like he's very respected. And, he's the kind of coach you can tell if you hear him tell you something, it's going to be very valuable tidbit of information and advice. Yeah, he's just part of the good brain trust. And now with Rico Hines, his partner, his buddy, because they work together a lot already. Earl and Rico are best friends. And now that they're together, that's an even more concentrated force on our coaching staff to make our young players even better and stuff like that. G's saying Raptors did win the chip, though. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's see. T Green's here. We're not going to be as much of a dumpster fire as y'all make it seem. Laugh out loud. We still have better players than the Raptors at the moment, so be humble. Y'all have a good core, but overrate your ceiling. You're hilarious, T Green. You're hilarious. I'm going to break this down real quick. You guys are going to be a dumpster fire. You've been a dumpster fire this whole time. You're in denial. You've been a dumpster fire this whole time. You have Kyrie Irving on your roster, you're automatically a dumpster fire. That's just the rules. You have Ben Simmons, who's just made, like, Philly was a dumpster fire last year because of Ben Simmons. That means until he proves that he's something, he's a dumpster fire. And you can think your players are better than ours, but once again, this is overvaluing your stuff because you listen to the NBA and ESPN and US media, and they don't give us the proper credit for who we are. They put us down. And we'll show you guys what the realistic realism and the reality of the NBA is this season. I don't even want to have to say anything. You're going to just see it. And you're going to remember this. We had a Nets fan that came in and hung out with us last year. He was awesome. He's a cool dude. I really like the guy, Starscream. He was very not like you guys. He was realistic. We talked about things in a real way. But at some point last year during the season, he stopped coming around because he didn't have any kind of thing to talk good about his team anymore. And guys, you guys got swept by Boston in the first round. That is just that's horrible. That's horrible. You guys should have done way better with the personnel that you have. So you can't tell me that you have better players and you got swept in the first round. You don't. You don't have better players in that case. You don't have a better team. You have a couple of really good Hall of Famers, but they're not really actually good team players. And they're not actually a good team. And that's what the difference is. So listen, you can think your ceiling's real good, but I don't think it is. And this is gonna be fine. We'll see who's humble by the end of the year. And last year was Starscream was humble, and the Nets Nation was humble because they got swept by the Boston Celtics in the first round. You have no place to talk shit from. And like I said, it is a dumpster fire. Until you move Kevin and Kyrie, you're a dumpster fire. That's just the damn truth of it. Because these men do not want to play for your franchise because they know it's a dumpster fire. That's it right there. The rats are running off the ship. The ship's on fire. So that's the pure truth of it, T Green. And you can debate me all you want, but we'll see how the real thing plays out this season coming up. G saying, not overrated at all. You will see. KD doesn't want to be there. Simmons is fragile, and Kyrie is a flake. That is a pretty good summary right there. Let's ask an impartial person. How about we ask Philadelphia 76ers fan which team he thinks is more a dumpster fire, Toronto or Brooklyn? And he will tell you. Random Gamers here. The real question is, are both of y'all ready to play the Sixers this year? Random Gamer DAP. Even though you are the enemy, I love you, man. You're just an awesome regular on this channel. And I love that there's Sixers fans that frequent my channel and we all coexist. Now, Brooklyn fan, you want to do that too. We can do that. But you're going to have to realize this is a Raptor fan channel and we are very Raptors oriented. And we're doing the job that ESPN should be doing for us. We're pushing us up and saying what we're supposed to be doing because we are more right than ESPN is most of the time. We were more right last year that the Raptors would be in the playoffs and do really well. And they did. They did really well for the season. We had a good record and all kinds of different things. So I love Random Gamers saying this. It's hilarious. G saying at least Harden is showing commitment and hard work and eagerness to play, to be honest. See, I will look at the reality of it. James Harden is finally becoming a good citizen. It looks like Philadelphia, you may have something going with James Harden finally buying in and being a good citizen on your team and stuff like that. So CC saying it's now or never. Not disappointed. We don't really care. We have our own thing going. Our philosophy is never just now. We plan for the long term. We get ourselves in no lose scenarios. It doesn't matter what happens. We're in a no lose scenario. We trade and get Kevin Durant. That's great. We can try and win with Kevin Durant. We don't get Kevin Durant. We try and win with our young core. That's great too. So it's like we're in a no lose scenario. You guys are in a lose lose scenario, Brooklyn, because you're losing one of the greatest players of all time because he wants to leave, or you may be getting a trade, or you have to keep him. He doesn't want to be there, so it's a lose lose scenario for you guys, and we're in a win win scenario no matter what. So. All right, let's keep going. David S is saying, did Scottie ever figure out how to make you a mod? No, he didn't. But we'll work on that. I know Lloyd and Kenny are trying to get me as a mod. So his friends, his brother, want to make me a mod. It's just Scottie's a little sheepish about it. He may not know exactly how to do it. He was checking my profile out and he's like, are we sure we need another mod? It's hilarious. I'm like, I'm not insulted by any of it. Scottie has to be a little bit, kind of like mistrusting of general people and certain things and stuff like that. And this is a big responsibility he would be giving me on his Twitch, being a moderator. So I don't want to mess that up. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if he does do it, I'm going to clean that up. And I'll tell you right now, Nets fan, you come into Scottie's Twitch, I will be kicking your ass out is what I will be doing. Oh, yeah, I will. Monique saying Earl Watson in the motivation speech just says he takes no bullshit from nobody. I like that. I'm going to have to see this stuff, this coach stuff with Nick Nurse and Earl Watson you guys are talking about. T Green saying, yes, overrated. Nobody has the Raptors being higher than a second round team. KD doesn't want to be there as a leverage play because we didn't offer Kyrie the extension. Things will work itself out. No. Listen, we are better. We're going to be a championship team very soon. We could win a championship this year. We're on the down low, a dark horse to win it. And you don't want to admit that, but it's the damn truth. And you'll see how this season goes. Listen, all right, we'll talk right now is July. But come back and talk to me in January. Come back and talk to me in April, and then come back and talk to me next July. And we'll see how things all planned out. All right. You remember this channel. Maybe subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. And you can go on this journey with us this whole season. I live stream every single damn morning. And I will be talking about Raptors every single morning. We can look at this, analyze this day by day. We can even make a chart. Say, which team is more on the dumpster fire rankings? Brooklyn's number one on the dumpster fire ranking, power rankings. These are the power rankings that matter to me. Because in some ways, the ESPN power rankings don't mean shit. The power rankings that matter are the teams that are most dysfunctional and that cause them to miss winning a championship because of their dysfunction. And right now, Brooklyn's number one on the list. They just passed the Lakers. Lakers were number one. I just flipped them. I flipped Brooklyn number one of all 30 teams in the league. They're the worst dumpster fire right now. And y'all don't even want to admit it. You're in denial. It's crazy. KD with the leverage thing, that's fine. It's going to backfire, though. It's backfiring on him. It's backfiring on the Brooklyn Nets. And nobody else is really like, all right, sure. Boston's got a little kerfuffle with Jaylen Brown now because you caused some toxicity there. And we've weathered our toxicity here. Everything's fine in-house here. We're going about our business. In fact, I don't even think Masai's picking up the phone when Sean Marks calls him at this point. It's like, you guys aren't serious. We don't give a shit. We don't have to help you guys. You guys can go ahead and just keep going the way you are, and it'll happen the way it's going to happen, stuff like that. So let's see. You didn't offer Kyrie the extension, which is smart. But that means, like, listen, Kyrie's an asset you're going to have a hard time getting rid of. And the other thing is, because these guys are so hard to get rid of right now, you've tested the market, their value's gone down. And that if you guys are going to move them eventually, you're going to get shittier returns for them. Trust me. Like, you guys are so crazy. Like, you're talking about how we overvalue our players. I think Brooklyn's a little bit overvaluing Kyrie and Kevin right now. And that's more egregious at this point. And that's why you guys haven't moved either one of them, because everybody's just looking at it. You know what? We'll pass. We don't give a shit about getting Kyrie or Kevin that much. That, you know what? Fuck y'all. Y'all can just deal with it. And that's really what the league is telling Brooklyn right now. It's hilarious. You think things are going to work out? Okay. Did you think things were going to work out last season? You see, you're going to have a repeat of last season. Watch, you will. Seriously. You think I'm crazy, but it's true. G saying no one had Scottie as rookie of the year either. You think we care what others say? We know what we have. Exactly. G's exactly right. The ESPN and the NBA media in the US slights the Raptors. They put us down. They downgrade us. They don't assess us fairly. They don't look at us correctly. And that's why everybody down there thinks we overvalue our team. Well, listen, I'm the one who's watching the Raptors night in, night out, every second, understanding every single damn thing in Raptors world. And in some ways, I have a way more educated opinion than Tim Bontemps or Bill Simmons or Jalen Rose because I'm actually fucking paying attention to the Raptors. I'm actually watching them very closely and their development and the different things that they're saying and what the coach is doing and what GMs are building here. And meanwhile, these guys just look at a piece of paper with our roster at the beginning of the season and say, oh, this is going to be a mid team. They're going to be the 15th team in the league. And that's stupid. They've hedged their bets and just put us in the middle so that they don't look so stupid if they put us real low like they want to, because all of a sudden we're at the top of the league. And this is what's consistently happened other than the Tampa year. So sure, go ahead and fool yourself over and over again that the Raptors aren't a real team or a real contender. And we'll just keep proving you guys wrong because every year we get the playoffs and we're a contender. And we are somebody that you guys should take seriously. We have champions on our team. We have guys with rings. You can't say that with your team. You can say Kevin got a ring, Kyrie's got a ring, but they got them other places. Brooklyn's never won a ring. And once again, we can say that over and over again. All right, it's now or never saying. I had a source that said KD said, nah, I'm not really feeling Toronto. Brooklyn's home. You're crazy. No, he doesn't want to be in Brooklyn. And I don't know if you know this, but when Kevin was growing up as a young kid, his favorite player was Vince Carter, and his favorite team was the Raptors. In fact, he has said he would love to play the Raptors for the Raptors since the beginning of his career. He's always said this. He has a special place for Toronto in his heart. He loves the city. He's good friends with Drake. And he would play in Toronto. You're fucking crazy if you think that he wouldn't want to play here. He is dying to play here. He's dying to play next to Scottie Barnes. He's dying to play for a capable GM named Masai Ujiri. He's dying to play for a badass coach like Nick Nurse. You are crazy if you don't think Kevin Durant wants to play in Toronto. He wants to play here. In fact, we're on his short list of favorite places to come play at because he knows if he came here, he'd win a championship. And that's what he wants. So you put the dots together and figure it out. You think Kevin doesn't want to play in Toronto? You're fucking stupid. He does. He loves it here. He loves this city. He will come here. He doesn't want to play in Brooklyn. That's why he's asking for a trade. So get your logic straight here. Come on now. David's saying, yeah, exactly, G. You have had a source laugh out loud. The paper boy. Yeah, who is the source there? It's now or never. Who's the source? Because everything I've heard is Kevin loves Toronto. He loves it as a city to come visit. He loves the playing in the arena because he loves our crowd is so animated, and he loves being the bad guy in there and killing us too. But if he came and he played for us and he had us behind him, oh my gosh, he would love that too. So don't get it twisted. He would be a great fit in Toronto and he'd love it here. It's just we don't want him. We don't really want him. We don't want to pay the price that Brooklyn's asking for him. And it's stupid. It's a stupid price. Like, we're not going to trade Scottie Barnes. And that's why the trade talks between Brooklyn and Toronto are just going nowhere. And they have continued to go nowhere and stuff like that. So, yeah. G's saying his source is, trust me, bro. All right, more from Brooklyn Nation, who's here. They're very present today. It's very interesting. You think Ujiri was hanging around Marks for nothing at Summer League? Laugh out loud. Of course he was trying to get in position to talk to Marks. No, they don't want to Barnes in talks, but Pascal's in play. All right, I'm gonna be fair here. Listen, they were all standing there. Rob Pelinka was there too. Woj, they're all standing there. Of course, they're all there, and they do need to talk about it in person. That doesn't mean that Masai went to Sean Marks. In fact, if you really are somebody who studies body language and things, you can see Sean Marks kind of coming to Masai, and Masai's a little bit kind of like not. You can look at the picture that I used for the thumbnail of the stream. Look at that picture, and you tell me who's coming to who and trying to talk to who. Is Masai's just standing there and he's just hearing him. And that's the whole thing. You guys are in a place of bad stuff. We aren't. You guys are in the place that's desperate. We aren't. And that's the difference. You need to move Kevin because Kevin does not want to be in Brooklyn. He does not want to be in Brooklyn. So you're in trouble. That's the problem. We don't have to do anything. We have our team set. We have our 20-man roster for going into training camp. We don't give a shit about anybody else coming here right now. We got a good team. We're ready to go with this one. So, like, really get reality of the whole situation here. But I will say this, like, for sure, Barnes is all play. Now, you're saying that you think Pascal is in play? I don't know. I can't say that for sure. And maybe that kind of, informs us part of why Pascal made his comments this week. But I still think that this would be a big mistake by the Raptors, and they wouldn't do this because Pascal was the second best player on our championship team in 2019. And he's a superstar in this league and stuff like that. I don't think that, honestly, at this point, I think, and a lot of the other Raptor fans that are here with us wouldn't trade Pascal for Kevin Durant, that we don't want Kevin Durant if Pascal is part of the price tag. So, listen, nothing's happened. If something was going to happen with Toronto and Brooklyn, it would have been figured out already. We're not the kind of team that waits around and wastes time figuring things out. We've looked at it, we've explored it, and it's just dead in the water. And this is just Sean Marks making a desperate last attempt, putting something out in the news in the last couple of days about wanting Scottie for Kevin and putting more pressure on us for that. Well, listen, I was with Scottie last night for 4 hours on his Twitch stream. That man is not getting traded to Brooklyn. He's not worried about it. So the trade talks are over. If Sean Marks is saying, well, we have to have Scottie Barnes and we're trading Kevin Durant to Toronto, well, then the trade talks are just dead. They're just dead. That's just how it is. David's saying, yeah, take Flynn for Durant. That's what he was working on. Yeah, see, go ahead. Yeah, maybe we're saying, yeah, we could give you Malachi. Did you know that he scored 73 points in the Seattle Pro-Am earlier this summer? Sean Marks, yeah, that's really impressive. Yeah, Malachi's real good. Yeah, let's trade him. Yeah, for Kevin Durant, straight up, just one-on-one. G saying, Raptors just got Rico Hines on their staff, Pascal's trainer, so I highly doubt he's on the table. Yeah, we've been saying this week. Like, listen, if Pascal is going to get traded, why would we just hire his number one developmental coach for the offseason? The man he's been with in Orlando all week this week, working his ass off, Rico Hines. Why would we hire him this summer and bring him in if we're going to turn around and trade Pascal? Why would we draft Christian Koloko, who's from the same hometown as Pascal Siakam in Cameroon, if we weren't going to try and keep Pascal around to help be a mentor to this young Cameroonian coming on our team? I mean, seriously, you can look at the logic of things and what makes sense, and you can understand where the Brooklyn Nets fans' logic is coming in here is completely flawed. Whether it's thinking that Kevin doesn't want to come here or thinking that we're desperate and we're feeling rejected or something like that, this is all stupid shit. You guys are trying to project labels onto our nation and things like that we have nothing to do with. We don't give a shit what Brooklyn does. You guys are burning dumpster fire, and you will continue to burn until you move your big names and stuff like that. So, all right, let's keep going. David's saying, why would we even want KD? It's insane. Listen, I won't say that. I mean, we could want him. He'd be helpful. But in a lot of ways, he could be a lot of problems too. And like I said earlier, talking about Donovan Mitchell, you get a player comes into your ecosystem on the team and they kind of unsettle the balance you already had. Like, we have good balance and flow with our offense with Scottie, Pascal, Fred, Gary, OG. All these guys are really good at sharing the ball. Kevin came in and he demanded more ball, more time and stuff like that. He may take away from the development of a young player like Precious Achiuwa or Scottie Barnes. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take. He doesn't really fit with where we are with our team in the timeline of things. So that's partly it also. If we want to win right now, for sure, yeah, go get Kevin. But we're not sacrificing a very short term right now for a long term that could be very good over time. And that's part of it is right there. Brooklyn would love to get Scottie Barnes because that's a future for the next 10 years. Meanwhile, Kevin's good for what, 4 or 5 more years? That's a big difference. And we're too smart to fucking fall for shit like that. Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are very smart men. And you're not going to pull anything on them, stuff like that. All right, let's see. T Green's actually, most Brooklyn fans want to run it back. We're only making a trade if the package is something we can't refuse, but running it back is better for us. That's probably true because, honestly, like you said, testing the trade waters with Kyrie and Kevin has been a huge fail. You guys overvalued them and thought you could get so much more for them. No team's willing to take these trades that you guys want for them or the packages you want in return for them. So, yeah, okay, you got to save face and say, well, now we're all about running it back. I'm sure you were all about trading him and trying to get good pieces when you heard some of the packages. You guys have been thirsting about Scottie Barnes in all kinds of weird ways this past month. So I know it's true. So yeah, go ahead and pick whatever narrative you want to pick to fit whatever you want to feel, whether Kevin's leaving or not leaving. You feel okay, we feel good about running it back. Well, do the players feel good about running it back? That's the other question. That's way more important than the fans being comfortable and wanting to run it back. David S is saying our team is substantially better than last year, and we were the 5th seed last year despite all the injuries. Exactly. Exactly. We were one of the best winningest teams after New Year's Day last year. This year, like since New Year's, the first of this year, this calendar year, we have been one of the highest winning percentage teams in the NBA on the down low. They don't want to talk about that. They'll talk about Boston's ascension and how they did and everything, but they don't talk about us. And we were very much right there with Boston as far as our winning clip for the last few months of the season. Brooklyn can't say that. They lost a lot in the middle. They were shit in the middle of the fucking season, losing games to teams that they had no business losing to and stuff like that. That's a lot of it right there. And so if we have good health, Pascal is healthy day one, going right into the season, we're going to kick everybody's ass. Because listen, Nick Nurse is a 60% win coach for his career. I expect him to get that percentage up this year. That I want him to win more than 60% of his games for the Raptors this season. I think he can do it because this is a really good team. And listen, we could be a 50 win to 60 win team this season. That's really where I predict the Raptors is to be somewhere between 50 and 60 wins this season. And be ready for it, other teams. You got to be ready for that. Oh, yeah. David's saying also, good luck with that, T. I'm still laughing at mainstream media thinking it was going to be Lakers and Brooklyn final. I know, just because they want to book it that way, like a wrestler promoter would. Like, oh, it's going to be Lakers Nets final or Lakers Celtics final. Yeah, they have plans and things they want to direct it to as the best they can. They may use referees to try and help certain teams like the Celtics throughout the season to have a good record and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we're taking all the punches, going through it all, and we're still being a badasses and winning games. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're going to try and hype Brooklyn like crazy, and all these Brooklyn fans will buy into their own shit and think that they're exactly what the NBA is saying. And then the reality will show itself, and you'll see that they're dumpster fire once again. T Green saying, not true. The Raptors' only championship is when you got a superstar. Y'all need a KD level player more than you think. Well, Pascal is that getting that level, and I still think Scottie Barnes has a superstar level to him. Listen, Pascal is a superstar. I'm sick of this gatekeeping that the NBA media has on who is a superstar and who isn't. Jason Tatum's a superstar. Well, then fucking Pascal Siakam's a superstar. I'm sorry. That's just the damn truth. And he's going to be even more OP this season coming up because this man is already one of the most unstoppable players in the league. And you don't give him enough respect or credit, Brooklyn Nation or Sixers Nation or any of these nations. You need to actually respect Pascal Siakam and who he actually is and what he can do on this court. So maybe we don't have a Kawhi right now, but Pascal may be more and more like a Kawhi. And this is the thing. We have so many good players that, listen, you can say all this bullshit. Look at the Detroit Pistons with Chauncey and all them. They didn't have a superstar. They did it with the team concept, and they had a really badass team. And some people think that's one of the best teams ever in the NBA's history. Well, the Raptors could be more like that Detroit Pistons team and have just a lot of good defensive players and just really be badasses. Sure, we can win. In fact, we're the kind of team that can win and shoot poorly still because we make more opportunities for our team through defense, rebounding, and other things like that. We could shoot a worse percentage than another team and still beat their ass because we made more opportunities for more shots off offensive rebounds and our defense. And our defense is only going to get even more sicker this year. Like, it's not going to get worse. Our defense is going to be even better this year with people like Koloko on the team and the continued growth and development of players like Scottie Barnes and Precious Achiuwa, who both want to be lockdown defenders, just like OG. So listen, it's not going to get any easier for the rest of the NBA when they play the Raptors. There's teams that specifically say they don't like playing the Raptors. Well, that's even going to get even worse this season. The one team that teams don't like playing is the Raptors because they're physical, they're all over the place, they're hard to play against with their defense and stuff. And there's going to be more of that. All right, let's see. All right, these Nets fans are funny. I mean, wrenches, you guys, if you want to at any point. It's now or never saying KD could do what Kawhi did for you guys. Shame we have the Slim Reaper in Brooklyn, though. I believe that this is true. I think that you guys are right on this sense, Nets fans. Like KD is that style of superstar like Kawhi for sure, and that he would actually really help us. We would get a championship if we made a deal with Kevin Durant for you right now. I think we would. It's just that we don't like your asking price. You guys are greedy and stuff like that. We would do this deal if like the one that we were willing to give you guys, but it wasn't enough for you guys was Gary Trent, OG, and picks, and it wasn't enough. You guys are too greedy. Like that's actually a pretty good deal. And you may not think it is, but OG's an all-around great player. Gary Trent is an up-and-coming star in this league. And those picks are valuable and exactly what you guys want. So that was the deal on the table, and you left it there. That was the best we could do it for y'all. And that's that. You know what? That's it. It's not going to happen. Then we're happy to have OG and Gary back. In fact, I'd kind of rather have them on our team than Kevin at this point. Seriously, for real. So, all right, let's see. David's saying, no, we have Scottie Barnes and Pascal and All-Star Fred. We have superstars on our team. It's just the NBA hasn't decided to crown them superstars. They put them down and stuff like that. Pascal has more on his resume as a basketball player than most of these idiots that they think are golden boys, like Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum. Like Pascal has a better resume than those guys in a lot of ways. So it's like they pick and choose who they want to crown a superstar, and they slight us. They don't want us to have superstars, but we have a superstar on the down low. His name is Pascal Siakam. So that's just how it is. G saying Kawhi is a two-way player, but plays both sides. KD is a great scorer, one of the best, but he needs a lot of defense around him, as can be seen when the Celtics swept them. No defense. Yeah, David, you know what, man? I'm going to give you a wrench. I'm going to give David a wrench real quick. Random Gamer saying, all right, let me, oh man, it jumped way ahead. Yeah, okay. All right. I see Random actually answer my question. That's awesome. Okay, Random Gamer saying their best player doesn't want to be there, their second best player doesn't want to be there, and their third best player is a bum loser. Random Gamer giving us the scouting report. Now, this is a neutral. This is another Atlantic Division team. This is Sixers Nation. This is Philadelphia fan. Should be our arch enemy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Philly fan is a friend of mine at times too. He's saying that, listen, he's saying right here, he's impartial. He's saying their best player doesn't want to be there, their second best player doesn't want to be there, and their third best player is a bum loser. And this is somebody who knows Ben Simmons pretty well. I'm pretty sure that Random Gamer knows Ben Simmons inside out and stuff like that. CC saying sources say it's now or never is a Chris Bouchard burner account. Hilarious. Hilarious, CC. CC is being a comedian today. I love it. Okay, Lolita's here. What's she saying? At least we are in agreement. Hands off Scottie. I'm imagining who he can be in 3 to 5 years. Oh my God, the boy will be truly amazing with his personality. Awesome. Happy birthday, Scottie Barnes. Yes, yes, Lolita, bringing in the positivity. Scottie's turning 21 on Monday. Y'all, we got to celebrate August the 1st. Scottie Barnes' birthday. That's right. Joseph Stark's laughing at what Cece says. Awesome. And Cece's laughing back. That's good. I love that there's comedy today. A random gamer saying Raptors almost got swept like the Nets, but fought back and almost gave me a heart attack. Exactly. This is a Sixer fan. He was facing us in the playoffs. And he has respect for us because, like, look, they were about to sweep us. We had a lot of injuries. They were playing great. Like, I really have to commend Doc Rivers that he actually did a good coaching job against the Raptors in the playoff series with us, that he did some really smart stuff and they won. And Joel Embiid hit an amazing three. We had some bad luck. But listen, he's respecting us because, look, we didn't roll over and die. We at least got a couple of games in a row before that series got finished in 6. That we won on their own court. We won on our court and did do a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, you guys just turned over and fell to the Celtics right away. So it's now or never saying Ben Simmons' elite level defense, Kyrie ball handling, finishing ability, and KD's assassin mentality is scary business. Sixers fans don't like Ben Simmons, so they can't be impartial. Sure, they can. They can be impartial. In fact, they are more well-informed about what you're getting than you are. That you're looking pie in the sky. You're listening to what the NBA media wants Ben Simmons to be. Well, I don't think he is who they think he is. I think he's a bum. I think he's exactly what Sixers Nation is saying, that he's a bum. Anybody who would do what he did last year and just how he acts and stuff like that. He's a clown, seriously. Like, I think he's part of the reason why Kevin doesn't want to play there. Seriously, on the down low, you might have to ask yourself that. Why is Kevin all of a sudden demanding a trade the morning after Ben Simmons posts some idiotic thing in the Nets locker room looking like a dork and and stuff like that. It's funny. Let's see. Monique saying that Dua Lipa concert though, shaking my fucking head. Yeah. All right. Listen, whoever went to that concert this week in Scotiabank Arena and let off all those fireworks, you're wrong, and don't ever do that again. In fact, I think people with fireworks are a little out of pocket this summer. They're shooting fireworks in people's faces, going down the street, shooting fireworks out the car like it's a drive-by shooting, stuff like that. People need to get within smart, responsible usage of fireworks if they're going to have them doing stuff. And aiming them at people or doing them indoors with thousands of people around you is really not smart or good. In fact, I hope they figure out who did that and they get them in trouble, because we don't want people coming to events in Toronto and doing that kind of shit. That's very dangerous. And yeah, I'm with Monique on that one, shaking my fucking head too. All right, random gamer is going to answer me. You're asking me which is more of a dumpster fire, the Raptors or the Nets? Well, that's like choosing between Ben, a loser, or Pascal, an all NBA player. Well, I think I have to go with Ben, laughing my ass off. He's looking individually at Simmons and Siakam. But like seriously, he has to. If you're really looking at it, look at how the teams are run. Look, you guys just had to switch your owner. Your owner you have a new owner, and he's a new sheriff in town. And he's going to try and help the Nets get less toxic and less a dumpster fire. And that's a good step in the right direction. But you know what he said? The first thing he said, Joe Tsai, when he showed up, he said, "I want Kevin Durant and Kyrie off this team because I realize they're part of the problem." So listen, you're on your way to getting things better in Brooklyn because you have a good owner finally. But he can't clean this up right away. And this is going to be a mess until he gets these guys out of there and stuff like that. And like, seriously, our team is so well run up here in Canada. Like, we have this amazing scouting system that Masai Ujiri, he was a scout before he did anything in the front office. So he really knows scouting. And then we have this amazing development. We have really smart drafting. We have good, free agency moves like getting Otto Porter Jr. Listen, we are very functional, very astute team management here. And like Brooklyn, I have to question some of y'all's decisions in the last couple of years as far as your front office and the things that you've done. Yeah, maybe it sounded good getting James Harden like you wanted to then, but it really kind of messed your team up the way you got James Harden and stuff like that. So it's that kind of thing. And I will say, Random Gamer is impartial. Like, in a lot of ways, he is impartial here. He does not like either of our teams that much. So Raps over your favorites. All right, it's now or never time. Philly isn't good for players, it seems. Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot, and Ben Simmons just doesn't shoot. Something in the water in Philly. Okay. Well, you're dissing Philly, and listen, I won't dispute that Philly has had issues with their front office and making some poor decisions at times also. But I don't think that's fair to their team as far as what you're saying with Fultz and Simmons. I think that Simmons is just not as good a player as everybody thinks he is. I think that the NBA media hyped him up so much because of his his skill set with his size, and they wanted him to be the next Magic Johnson, but he's not. He's just an ordinary NBA player that they hype up and made into more than he is. He doesn't deserve the hype, actually. He hasn't earned it. Like, in fact, I don't think he's that good of a player. I've never thought he was that good. When we played the Sixers in the playoffs, I always thought he was holding them back, that he was hurting them more than he would help them and stuff like that. That series where Kawhi hit the shot is a good example. So, yeah, you go ahead and believe that Ben Simmons is who he is, and you can talk to the past owner of having him on their team, and they'll tell you who they think they are, and I'll tell you who I think he is from seeing him from the outside and playing against him in the playoffs with the Raptors. And I'll tell you, he's overhyped. He's actually just like a normal NBA player, and that he really shouldn't have all these accolades or all these aspirations that people think he's going to be so great, because he's not that good. In fact, I don't think he's that good of a defensive player. Everybody says he's such a good defensive player, but I don't see it. Like, seriously, I don't see it. He's weak sauce in all kinds of different ways. Like, his personality, who he is, and on the court, everything about him is weak sauce. All right, let's see. Seymour Pape saying Philly water more toxic than Michigan's. He's talking about in real life, Seymour. All right, let's see. Random Gamer saying Fultz had a nerve issue and Ben never came in the league as a shooter. Just spitting facts. That's it. Yeah, Ben Simmons is not a shooter. And the NBA is like, now it's a prerequisite. It's mandatory. You have to be able to shoot in this league. The talent is just too good that you cannot hide a player that can't shoot anymore. And that in itself is a reason why Ben Simmons sucks. is because you can let him shoot threes all day. He's not going to make them. He sucks and stuff like that. And I think that's fair what Random Gamer is saying about Fultz, that he had issues very early in his career with injuries that didn't really like, and that hurt. And they used him as a trade thing to get some other team, some other players. And that's what happened with Fultz going to Orlando. Seymour saying Boston, Brooklyn, Philly, y'all getting the beat down this season. Yes, Seymour Pape. Isaac Campbell saying Steve Nash may need to suit up in a time machine for that to happen. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Steve Nash in some ways. In fact, I've heard that Steve Nash doesn't have the total respect of his players on his team. Like in some ways, I don't think Kyrie and him totally get along. And these are part of the problems here. It's like some of the Nets players don't respect Steve Nash as a coach. That's a problem. That's a toxic problem right there. That's another problem. David S. is saying, y'all can laugh, but I really believe Raptors will be the first seed in the East. I'm with David on this. I believe it too. Why not? Why can't it be us? It's just because the NBA media doesn't think it can happen? Just because Nets fan doesn't think it can happen? It can happen. And I really think it will. I really do. I'm with David S. on this one. Joseph Stark saying, I'm actually fucking paying attention to the Raptors too, Alex. How in the north? Oh, man, I love it. All right, let's keep going. Isaac Campbell saying, Raptors should stoke the dumpster fire flames and offer the Nets a third-round pick for Steve Nash. They don't deserve the man. I don't want Steve Nash as a coach on our team, and he wouldn't come here. Honestly, I've talked to Steve Nash personally. I was hanging out with Steve Nash in the early 2000s when he played for the Dallas Mavericks, and before he won the MVPs. He was dating a woman that I worked with at a bar in downtown Toronto, and he would hang out after hours and wait for her to get off work, and I would be hanging out too, and we would just sit there and I'd pick his brain and talk to him. And I said, Steve, would you ever come and play for the Raptors? I asked him this in 2001. And he said, no, Lexi, sorry, I won't ever come play for the Raptors because I'm a West Coast guy. That's why on his career, he only played for like Lakers, Dallas, Phoenix. He only played in the West Coast because he's from BC. He's a West Coast guy. And the other thing is he didn't want to play for the Raptors because he felt like it would be too much pressure as a Canadian and being such the most important Canadian in the NBA, that he didn't want to have the pressure of being the Captain Canada on Canada's team. So he told me he wouldn't play for the Raptors. Now, if he'd want to coach for us, I don't know if he would take taken down a peg from head coach to assistant coach under Nick Nurse and learn under Nick Nurse. He may want to do that. But you're right. I feel bad for Steve. He's a nice guy. I know personally because I've met him and talked to him. And he doesn't deserve to have to go through all the shit that he's gone through with the Nets as he's been head coach there in the last couple of years, especially last year. Last year had to be so fucking trying with Kyrie's bullshit and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I like Nash as a person because he's a cool dude. He's awesome. But we don't need to help him. He's on the Nets, and Nets dumpster fire stuff is great for us. Random Gamer saying, wow, he really said y'all are coming out of the play-in. Personally, if I were y'all, I wouldn't take that. I don't even know. It may be the comments that he made are erased, and I'm not looking at them anymore. So I'm not really giving a voice to Brooklyn at this point. We've heard what they have to say. G saying, in the last 9 years, Raps made the playoffs 8 times, Eastern Conference Finals twice, and won a chip, but they will get their feet wet. That's insane. That's crazy. All right, that's replying to It's Now or Never's comment or something like that. Yeah, we have a lot of playoff experience. We're the better playoff team. We beat the Nets consistently in the recent years when we played them in the playoffs. Sure, they beat us back when they had Paul Pierce and stuff like that, the early 2010s and stuff like that. But we beat the shit out of the Nets when we played them in the playoffs recently and stuff like that. I don't understand how they can equate. Like their resume, once again, doesn't even stack up. Team resume. Raptors versus Nets. Look how many years the Nets have been in the league, and have they ever won a championship? And look how long we've been in the league and we've won a championship. So these are things we can say here. Let's see. Random Gamer saying, gee, I could be wrong, but didn't the Nets go through the play-in last year just to get swept? Exactly. I think you may be right. I think that is exactly right. Monique saying, when you really think about it, Lex, I'm glad Pascal opened up with his latest video because this chatter is nonsense, in my opinion. You know what? You're right, Monique. I am really glad that Pascal did that too. And at first it was jarring and it bugged me, but it made me have a reality check. And I really love the way he handled it and the way he talked about it. But it's also very telling that he's talking about he's pulling on a Toronto Raptors practice shirt, showing that I play for the team that I play for, and it's the Raptors and stuff like that. All right, you guys erased it's now or never, or maybe he's retracted his messages. I don't know. Either way, I don't care. CC wins today. Yeah, CC, you win today. Number one, CC. Monique saying people forget to look at GTJ's age. Shaking my head. I know Gary Trent Jr. I mean, Nets, y'all probably fucked up that you didn't take our best offer when you could, and maybe that's off the table at this point because y'all are getting more and more desperate. Now we really want to fleece you. Now maybe some of the draft picks are off the table, or maybe Gary's off the table. Now it's just got to be OG and draft picks or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much. But this is the thing. Once Phoenix figured out Ayton, you lost one of your good dealing partners and you lost even more leverage. And it's even harder for you guys to make the KD deal now. So now it's kind of like we have you under our thumb. If you really want to move Kevin to Toronto, well, you need to listen to what we're willing to give you and maybe settle for less than you originally wanted at the beginning of the summer and stuff like that. So that's what I'll say about this situation. A random gamer saying, I'll never forget when I told my friends like 3 or 4 years ago that Pascal is much better than Ben, and they all called me stupid. I feel like a freaking genius right now. I'm not going to lie. You should get credit for that. And that takes a lot of guts considering you're in Sixers Nation and you were saying that about a Raptor. But it has turned out to be true in a lot of ways. I mean, seriously, some people in this world will argue that Ben Simmons is a better NBA player than Pascal Siakam. Well, they're wrong. Is you can look at the body of work and the things that they've done, and you will just see that Pascal is a better player. He's succeeded way more than Ben has and stuff like that. CC's loving getting the kudos from Monique. Isaac Campbell saying the only way the Nets could dream of acquiring a Pascal Siakam is if they draft another person with the very same name. Oh, wait, they gave away all their picks. See, that's the funny thing. I really love this situation with the Lakers and the Nets and how they can't make this Kyrie deal done because neither one of them have picks that they both covet going either way. It's like Lakers don't have any picks to trade, and that's what the Nets want. So that's why they won't trade Kyrie to the Lakers. Meanwhile, the Nets really want picks from the Lakers, and they don't have any picks to trade the other way either. So it's like the Nets and the Lakers doing any kind of trade is hilarious because there won't be any picks involved. It'll just be dumpster fire toxic players going one for the other. Russell for Kyrie. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to run it back like he said they want to. Go ahead. Have your folly of wasting another year of Kevin Durant's career with BS, spinning in the mud in Brooklyn with all their dysfunction, stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. David saying at Random Gamer, yeah, went through the play-in and then they got swept. All right, guys, we're just about at 2 hours. This has been a fun talk. We've really been roasting Brooklyn Nation pretty good today, and that's good because they deserve it. They've been so uppity and like, we're so great because of our super team and stuff like that. Well, motherfucker, you came crashing down to the ground and found reality. Was last year with Kyrie Irving and his flat earth mentality and not getting vaccinated and missing a lot of games. In fact, we can't even get Kyrie in a trade package with y'all because he's not even allowed to come into our country. So it's like nothing's changed this year. You guys can have Kyrie Irving on your team, but he can't play in Toronto. If you want him to play against us, we can play against you in Barclay, but not here. He's not allowed to come across the border into our country. So we can't get Kyrie Irving. I love that. I love that in a lot of ways. That there's no way we could get Kyrie Irving. Now, Kevin, we could get him, but y'all are going to need to lower what you want because y'all are in trouble. And we're going to fleece you. If we get Kevin Durant, we're going to fleece you. We're going to give you stuff that's not enough. And that's the only way it'll happen is y'all will get fleeced by Masai. And that's the only way that Kevin Durant will end up on the Toronto Raptors this season is that we ripped you off. Monique saying, guys, pay attention to Rico Hines and Earl Watson's Instagrams today. Apparently workout runs are happening. Okay, cool. Monique's giving us the heads up. Maybe on IG Live, we'll see Pascal working with Rico and see some really good footage. So be on alert and ready for that. And David S. is saying, how hard would it be to get into a practice or OVO, do you think? Would they let you in or is there no chance? I don't live far. Would love to go see a workout or practice. That's an interesting question, David. My friend Stevie Roots, he lives really close to OVO Center also. And he likes to go over there and just kind of smoke a J outside near the lake and stuff like that. You know what you should do? why don't you just go by there and investigate? Come in and say, hey, I love the Raptors so much, and just kind of see. Maybe they just have a security guard at the front door and says, no public. And then you'll just turn around and leave. But it might be fun to investigate. You never know until you ask. So it could be that you go down there and all of a sudden it's a magical mystery tour of like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and you're all of a sudden in OVO, and holy crap, there's Scottie Barnes over there working out. That could be very fun. So I would encourage you to at least check it out, David. Go to the door and see how far you can get. And you know what? This could be very interesting for you to come and report back to us. Your adventure going to OVO Center and seeing how far you can get in. Not that we want to encourage people to try and trespass or cause trouble at OVO Center. It's just that I've always wondered this also. I've ridden by there and I'm like, I wonder if you could actually go in there and check it out and stuff like that. So maybe we need you to go do some investigative reporting, David, and come back and tell us what happened. CC saying, have there been more preseason games announced? I only know of 2 right now. I know of the Boston preseason game against the Celtics in Montreal. And then I know on the 9th of October, we're in Chicago playing the Bulls in the preseason. Those are the only 2. I'm so waiting for the NBA to just release their schedule. In fact, it's kind of holding up my fall and planning how I want to do my fall because I really plan around Raptor games. I can't plan my life until I know when the games are. So release the schedule, NBA, so we can find out how we can plan our lives for the fall. Yeah. All right. So, and Monique's telling CC is in Montreal. There's a game. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again. Once again, I just want to say, keep dreaming, Sean Marks. If you want to make a deal and get Kevin somewhere else in another team, doesn't matter if it's the Raptors, it could be any other team, you're going to get fleeced. You're not going to get what you want in return because listen, this is all just the art of bargaining and the art of business. You guys are in a detrimental place. Y'all spoke first and y'all sat down first and y'all did all the things Jack Donaghy would have told you not to do at 30 Rock. So that's what I'm saying. Brooklyn, you are in the bad place and you should be getting like fleeced if you really are going to move Kevin or Kyrie at this point, that you found out their real market value and it's not even close to what you guys think it is. And a lot of teams that you want to trade with just don't have picks to give you. And that's going to hamper it too. So go ahead, run it back, Nets Nation. Be real happy to run it back. And we'll just see hopefully a rerun of last year and just the function parade. Or running around the NBA with Kyrie's bullshit and his vaccinations, and Kevin not being really that happy on the down low, and Ben Simmons just being like an aloof goof. How about we call him that? The aloof goof and stuff like that. Monique saying, or CC saying, I saw yesterday you shared that. That's awesome. I'm so happy when the Raptor Freak community and people that are big Raptor fans are doing other things in other places. Thank you again, Tom and Shane, for being there with me in the Twitch with Scottie Barnes last night. A lot of fun last night. Scottie is hilarious and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe I'll get my sword sometime soon anyway. So, all right, have a great Friday, guys. Tomorrow, we're sharing the love club for Precious Chua. We're going to talk about all the things we love and appreciate about Precious. He's having a great week this week in Nigeria with his camp, and he's throwing some real nasty dunks. So let's appreciate and love Precious Achua tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, one game should be announced soon in Toronto. I don't know why they don't just announce the whole schedule. Come on, Raptors. Let us have something to look forward to when the next game is coming up for Raptors. Yeah. All right, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here. Even Brooklyn fans today, I appreciate you guys coming in and giving us the opposite opinion and making this a more well-rounded live stream. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thank you, Random Gamer and Sixers Nation, for being here also. And Monique and all the other super fans and Raptor freaks of the Raptors Nation. I appreciate all y'all and love y'all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your summer. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Let's go, Raptors.